long illness and calling him the most iconic voice in comedy, in addition to being a wonderful husband, brother, friend, and father to his two young children. Gilbert Gottfried was 67. President Biden's in Iowa to target inflation, which keeps rising, hitting another 40-year high in March.
Long before officials here wanted to blame Vladimir Putin for rising prices, they were blaming the pandemic and the supply chain, and they said that inflation was going to be temporary. The press secretary, Jen Psaki, briefed the traveling press that President Biden's still confident inflation will ease by the end of this year.
Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House. The president set to announce a waiver allowing a cheaper gasoline blend to be sold over the summer, despite smog concerns. America is listening to Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Get a personal loan for that summer vacation or to pay off those long overdue bills. Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña, now at the old Nanbo Insurance Building at 475-4545, Upper Tumon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, here to serve you.
For the freshest deal around, check out the Make Your Own Salad Special at Ruby Tuesday Guam. From now until April 15th, you can serve yourself at their Fresh Garden Bar for just $8.99. And you can build up your plate with an add-on of grilled chicken breast or grilled salmon fillet for just $3.99 more. It's a fresh deal at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
A federal panel in Ohio decides not to block certification of a disputed congressional map ahead of the midterm elections.
The three-judge panel of the District Court for the Southern District of Ohio said adding new maps would further complicate the dispute. The challenge came from black voters who say the district lines used now disenfranchise them. The state's redistricting commission is on its fourth legislative map, the first three being rejected by the Ohio Supreme Court as examples of partisan gerrymandering. The refusal to intervene means congressional races move forward, but state General Assembly races have had to be paused. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
2020 is no longer the deadliest year in U.S. history. It's been surpassed by 2021, with nearly 3.5 million deaths. COVID-19 a major reason, but a new study also shows an unprecedented spike in adolescent drug overdose deaths. Researchers also think the U.S. life expectancy dropped by several more months. Since 2019, it's already dropped more than a year and a half to around 77. And the numbers are even worse for Black Americans on health, financial, and other factors in a separate report.
The National Urban League's annual report is now published, and the group says on average, African Americans are still earning less, building less wealth, are less educated, and less civilly engaged than white Americans. The League's State of Black America suggests blacks are only 3/4 as prosperous in the U.S. as whites, with median family incomes being nearly 40% less. Life expectancies for black children born now are 4 years less than white children, and that black adults were 5% less likely than whites to be registered to vote.
Fox's Evan Brown. An early rally slips away on Wall Street. The Dow down 88 points at the close. Oil prices surging back over $100 a barrel. Elisa Brady, Fox News.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
This is the sound of connecting with nature, connecting to each other, and the sound of connecting with your finances. With First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app, you have the power to connect with your finances like never before. With real-time tracking on your financial goals and tailored updates on your accounts, First Hawaiian Bank is putting the power of connection at your fingertips. First Hawaiian Bank, Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
In celebration of our 33rd anniversary, BK's new Whopper Melts are here. Our Whopper Melts feature 2 slices of toasted bread layered with 2 Whopper Junior patties for a quarter pound of flame grilled beef, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce. Whopper Melts now available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our big Whopper fans. Top off your meal with jalapeno cheddar bites and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Whopper Melts now available for a limited time. BK, Tumon Bay, Aganya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK your way.
Off a day at 6:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. Well, gas prices dropped for a second time in 2 weeks, with regular grade now costing about $5.69 a gallon. Just a slight drop, but will bring relief nonetheless. Along with that comes news from Adelup yesterday that the first batch of assistance has been sent out to help families pay for gas. The payments to qualified applicants. The governor says that this falls under Program Salapi, in which families will receive $300 in direct cash in order to pay for gas and other items. Meanwhile, the governor has taken action on a number of bills, and it's possible that senators may be looking at an override at least one of those bills or 2 of them. The governor yesterday vetoing a measure that would require drug testing of resigning government of Guam employees if they want to keep their reemployment rights, as well as requiring employees to pass a drug test upon reemployment. Senator Tony Ada, the main sponsor of Bill 123, in the Guam Daily Post says that he will push for an override in the next session. The governor says Bill 123, though, is unenforceable and would violate the U.S. Constitution. The governor also vetoed 2 other bills, Bill 263, which relates to increased transparency on small purchases, and Bill 239, which establishes business license requirements for child placement agencies. The governor did sign a handful of other bills. One of them is Bill 213 that grants an exemption for the construction of a 40-megawatt reserve power generator in PD. We'll have more news right after this.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
The couple arrested in connection with the alleged abuse of a 3-month-old baby have been released from detention. Navy sailor Austin Christopher Johnson and his wife Nika Mae Johnson were both released on a $10,000 personal recognizance bond, meaning that they didn't have to pay any bail up front, according to the report in the Guam Daily Post. The Superior Court of Guam Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan ordered the couple have no contact and stay away from their 3-month-old daughter. Both are scheduled to appear back in court on April 29th. The child remains in the custody of Child Protective Services after being brought to the Naval Hospital over the weekend, where a doctor discovered multiple fractures on the baby's body. Attorney Mark Smith wants a federal judge to grant a judgment of acquittal, a new trial, and arrest of judgment on all counts in connection with his wire fraud conviction. The request was filed in the district court yesterday. Smith seeks acquittal on all counts, arguing that the government's theory of property fraud was defective. According to the motion in the court, the court should grant a new trial because the prosecutor improperly argued an uncharged honest services theory in summations. Smith was accused of receiving housing payments as a landlord while acting as the attorney of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. Prosecutors allege that he attempted to conceal his ownership, naming a friend as an owner of the property. He was convicted on those charges, and his sentencing is still scheduled for May 18th. And another individual pleading to the court to throw the book at Evan Montville Cohen, the former president of Air America, now asking for the stiffest punishment against Montville Cohen during his sentencing, which is scheduled for next month. Montville Cohen is a former managing director of Sorensen Group and a founder of the failed Air America talk show radio show, admitting to the charges of use of means of identification in furtherance of fraud and bank fraud. Montville Cohen faces a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison for the first charge and 30 year maximum sentence for the second charge. He's scheduled to be sentenced on May 24th. And those are your top stories here on The Point News, Ray.
Yeah, thank you very much there, Montecito Tower, and I appreciate that tossing out to me.
Where's your weather? You lost
the last story, just
Good morning.
Like, hey, I know the guy, right?
Yeah, we all know the guy.
We all know the guy. Trying to think if he owes me any money.
No.
Or something like that.
Wow.
Write it off.
Write it off.
Yeah.
Can everybody go and tell the judge?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
write the
Yes.
letter?
Or you can let it go, Ray.
Just let it go.
Let it go.
Just,
That's-
will my karma be any heavier
Follow me
or
for
lighter
more
if I
relationship
do it
advice.
that way? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. My good friend, Real Joe, here comes the weather. East-southeast winds, 13 to 21 miles an hour. Gusting as high today as 28 miles an hour. It's partly sunny in the forecast. That means that the things are actually starting to look good. It turned out to be a pretty decent day yesterday, didn't it? A nice breeze through most of the afternoon, but not a heavy breeze. And absolutely cool. No rain last night over at Carabao, which was great because they took the canopy down in the parking lot.
Sweet.
They took the canopy.
So
but
you were
It was
there.
amazing to see how many people didn't notice. They were like, hey, where's the thing? They took it down because it's windy. Mostly cloudy in the forecast tonight, though. Lows around 77 degrees. And the southeast winds up to about 17 miles an hour. See if I can get this up on the screen so you can see what it looks like in the neighborhood. Gusting as high as 23 today. This evening, scattered showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast for tomorrow, although they are predicting partly sunny skies. Daytime highs near 86 degrees. Heat index over the next couple of days, it should feel like 90 degrees. High surf and rip current warnings are still in effect. Sunrise this morning was at 6:09. Getting earlier and earlier every single day. You know why? Biden. It's him. He's doing that. You know what? It needs to be hot earlier so I can make more money off air conditioning from my oil buddies in Ukraine. You know what I mean? Sunset tonight's going to be at 6:34. There you go. News and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 67 and a half years.
Are you looking for a new place to hang out with your friends? Let's go along the sidelines at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Located at 154 Iriarty Road, Unit 4 and 5 in Tamuning behind Royal Bigs. Sidelines, a hidden gem with nothing but great things to offer. Great atmosphere, great food, top shelf drinks, and a great team. What are we waiting for? Let the fun begin at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. See you there.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate, put cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. Where there's put branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
Thanks, Phil. Portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at APL, American President Lines. A global presence with a local home, also being brought to you by the team over at where? Where's it at? Which one?
APL.
Oh, just them right now?
Oh, no, Subway.
I was going to talk about Subway. I wanted to because they got the Eat Fresh Refresh thing going on. Melts is the thing these days. And you can find your favorite sandwiches with your favorite bread, your favorite meats, and then you say, hey, can I get that as a melt? And I'll say, yeah, we will. Put it in the machine, and out comes gooey perfection. Ham and cheese melt, tuna melt, steak and cheese melt to get started. Best of all, you can make any footlong that you like into a fresh melt at Subway Eat Fresh Melt.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Somebody put it down as the tweet of the week. I'm a dentist. I graduated with 68 other ones. I've met even more in 13 years as a dentist, and not one of us has been asked about our opinions on toothpaste. Yeah, you ever hear that in a toothpaste commercial? 9 out of 10 dentists recommend Crest or whatever. And there's a bunch of guys sitting around going, they didn't ask me. I don't know. What kind of toothpaste you got?
Sensodyne, Ray.
Really?
I'm
Sensodyne?
just kidding, man.
Oh,
I use the AIM.
Yeah.
I use aim.
All right, because a lot of
or
people
close up.
The one that I originally hated it in the beginning, but I've learned to love it and miss it when I have to switch to something else, like if I'm staying in a hotel or traveling or something like that. Is the Arm & Hammer, the baking soda one?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Have you ever seen?
That's nice, Ray.
Mana, come on.
I don't know if that's minty fresh.
Colgate Total.
Just Colgate Total.
Colgate.
Yeah.
So that's the one with keeps your teeth white and makes your breath fresh, all of that kind of. Okay, gotcha. Hey, you know what? If you're looking for something to meme us with this morning, then do me a favor. Send me a picture of whatever it is that you're brushing your teeth with here this morning. Maybe the entire ensemble. You know, the toothbrush and the utensils.
Pugwa husk.
It's like when we were kids. Yeah. Hey, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. Thrilled as usual to be here with you on what today? Wednesday, right? It's Wordle. It's Wordle Wednesday, and so I got Wordle in 4. And I feel, whenever I get that, I just go, wow, I'm so average. But then, the other day I got Wordle in 2. Wordle is one of those things now. I'm upset, but I'm also kind of delighted that you're only allowed to play once a day.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's all I do is I sit there and play Wordle. When I figured out how to play Sudoku, first thing I wanted to do was go to the bookstore and buy a Sudoku magazine, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the 8-hour airplane ride between Honolulu and Guam, the entire one trip, I went through the Sudoku book, and that kept me occupied.
Oh, the Cliff Notes?
It's just I didn't want to. I can't sleep on airplanes.
Oh.
I have a hard time sleeping on airplanes.
I get that.
Yeah,
too.
because I want to be awake if it crashes. I'd like to be able to. I just want to
see it coming.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I don't want to have that surprise. Yeah, I want to just be able to. Oh, we're going down. Mayday. So I want to be able to have that experience. But otherwise, it's pretty difficult for me to sleep unless I have a significant amount to drink and eat prior to the flight, and that almost never ever happens. At any rate, welcome to the program. As I said, excuse the mess. It is Wednesday on the Ray Gibson Show. Lots and lots to talk about. I start off with that every day. I always say there's lots and lots to talk about, and then for the most part, it's only about 4 or 5 topics that we get to. Right? What did we talk about yesterday?
Still a lot to talk about.
Lots of abortion stuff yesterday, some politics, and some gossipy things that we're going. But I'm going to try to get to the lots and lots and lots that I've got on the actual table of contents today, including. And you got to do me a favor, guys. A little bit of a prayer for the people of Shanghai. Are you seeing what's going on there? It is 26 million people, maybe as high as 28 million people, but the numbers are going to come down because there's no food in Shanghai. They've got everybody on a lockdown, and you cannot leave your place for any reason whatsoever. I'm out of food. Should have planned ahead. Should have bought more. And there are people living literally on scraps. There's a guy in protest took his refrigerator and moved it to the balcony of the apartment with the doors wide open, so you can see he's got nothing to eat in his place. It's not like there's much else that can be done because the grocery stores, if you can get to them, the shelves there are bare because anybody that would be putting food on the shelves is in their apartment. They're stuck. They can't leave and come to work. A real major humanitarian crisis going on out there. But hey, listen, all stories are local stories. What does that mean for us? What if something like that were to happen here? How many days worth of food do you have in your house, Real Joe?
I don't know, maybe 4, 5.
All right. If you count the chickens running around in the backyard.
Oh, we got weeks.
You got weeks and weeks and weeks. I live forever.
Those, bro.
Live forever based on those chickens. 6:19 as they start looking at the dogs and the cats, going, well, maybe a little bit of soy sauce and some garlic and onions. Maybe that. Meow. Well, how do you know you haven't had some already?
Those are friends.
Hey, that's Real Joe. He gets the phone when you call it 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number around here. As I said, the meme machine is online and working. Played some of those while the news from Fox was on, et cetera, et cetera. And I'd be happy to do them some more. I have sent myself some stuff on the meme machine. I want to start off early by reminding you tonight, jiu-jitsu seminar with three black belt guy, three black belt number 3.
Oh yeah,
like Mambo number 5. What do they call that?
Third
degree black belt. He's going to be there. He's the brother of Gaga Joe, and Gaga Joe is sick, and they got to help out with medical expenses and things like that. $40 a head. It will be tonight at 6 until 8 over at the International Sports Center. That's the gym that is right next to KFC in Anigua.
Yeah.
For those of you,
wow,
so you
the
can
irony.
Dinner.
I've been on the treadmill, man.
KFC was there first.
The chicken wings.
You know what? And you can smell it. That is easily one of my. I love to hate that particular running route. So I'll run into Ganya every once in a while, and it will take me, by the court and by the KFC in Anigua, and every once in a while, I just pass by that KFC.
Herbs and spices.
Yeah, well, as it turns out, that's what I had for dinner last night. That's what I had for dinner last night. I did my run, did my Carabao with some friends, and I got to be thinking about, all right, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Went over to KFC, got myself one of those spicy zinger sandwiches and a Twister. So good and so good for you. The smell, I'm sorry, man, the smell just stayed with me. Monica Silva-Tyron going to be here, and she's going to take care of news and information and sweep up behind me and make sure I get everything right. Is that what the plan is today?
Except for the sweep up behind you.
All right, gotcha. All right, so if I'm wrong, I'm just, who's going to correct me? Klitsky and Mark Cruz.
Oh yeah.
And Klitsky and Mark Cruz will correct me. Those are the guys.
Are listening, man.
Those are the guys that you know what? When the teacher leaves the room, Bob Klitsky is the guy that she gives the paper to. So you just watch out, Bob. Anybody that gets out of line, anybody that talks, anybody that acts up while I'm off, you write their name down. Same thing with Mark Cruz. All right, so lots to get to this morning, but we don't get started without number one. Praying? No. Wait, that's lunch. No, we do that at lunchtime. In the name of the Father. And we got to take care of these holy rollers here.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
It's 6:22 in the morning, and nice. I've got sunrise pictures coming in, and I got some from Jeff Pirates Cove, and I got one or two from pretty Sarita Garin here this morning. But I'm distracted, Real Joe.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I am. She's sending me pictures of sunrise, but I'm looking at this is her profile picture on her WhatsApp.
Oh, Baywatch.
Yeah.
Sarita.
Is that Gun Beach?
I believe so.
Looks like Gun Beach.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out, and yeah.
Buns out. I'm thinking that's exactly right. All right, we'll take a look at those pictures a little bit later on. In the meantime, let me take care of these guys here. Looks like Jennifer Leon Guerrero Mendiola at number one here this morning. Congratulations. Now, this is, I jumped into this a little bit late, so it's possible there might be about 40 names that were at the top that I
you
missed.
Offended?
Sorry about that. This is the app of record, ladies and gentlemen. Rudy Rodolfo, the original Burger King, online here this morning. You are going to love. Hey, Rudy, as I was looking at Twitter yesterday, and I saw a whole bunch of people from Burger King, and they got their pictures taken in front of the signs over at Hit Radio whenever. I'm like, dude, what was it? They just kind of gun and runned it when they came in here, right? They just kind of like, here's your Mel's, bye.
Yeah.
Next time, Rudy, I want you to deliver it, number one, and number two, I want you to hang out with us in the studio for a little bit.
Majesty.
I want selfies with the original Burger King. But thanks for the hat. We did get the Burger King crowns.
Reward all day.
Post Canteen online. Post Canteen says last day to sign up and pay for steak night. If you want details, then right click on Post Canteen's name and he'll get it to you. Dennis Larson and what's that? Sarita says she's listening on mobile. Chachug and saying good morning. Joanne Titano is there. Jane Nauta, Lonnie Salas, and good morning and happy Wednesday to the Point family. Pam Duvall listening to the news, talking about Tony Atta going for an override on the drug testing bill. Governor says, no, I can't sign off on this. Might be unconstitutional. And Pam Duvall says, Lou's concerned about constitutional rights now? Colin Clark's online. I see, let me see, Johnny Atulai. Hey, Johnny Atulai's on. That's our favorite fisherman. Hey, when's the last time you got arrested and all of your stuff confiscated by the Port Police? Recently? It's I
hope not, man.
You know what? I gotta know.
It's coming, I think.
Oh, it's what Manyahac run is going on now. I got the notice from Department of Agriculture in the email yesterday. It said Manyahac run, and I thought, oh wow, another 5K. How about? Imagine how disappointed I was when I opened it up and it was talking about Manyahac, the actual fish Manyahac run. Jerome McDonald is online. Gerald Young. Brett Wood is there. I see Dave Lazard online. Dennis Benzer, who was DB online here this morning, and he swung by the house and gave me yesterday one of those gas containers.
Oh,
he gave me an empty gas container. Yeah, you know why?
Why?
Because he heard us talking on the radio. He says, "Oh, I got plenty of those." Because he's a chef guy, right? So he's got one that's empty. Dropped it off over at my place. place. And now I'm going to test out the theory of Mana Silva-Tyron, which is you take the empty up to Benson, and then they will give you another one.
Yes.
They will. But what if it's like...
How do you not know this? Have
I
you
mean,
never
don't
used
ask me
LP
how I
gas
get to be
before?
60. There's a lot of stuff
Well,
I don't know
you
about.
probably never had to use LP gas.
It's
because
not
you're
Tanaki,
rich.
is it, Ray?
Yes,
it is.
Oh
It's
yeah,
Tanaki.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Dennis.
No. I can tell he fabulosoed it, but it was still, you
great.
can tell it's been outside underneath.
Dennis is
underneath
clearing
the
out
grill.
junk from his house and bringing it to yours, dude.
Hey,
That's what's going down.
Nothing wrong with that. You should see my backyard. My backyard is nothing but secondhand stuff, bro.
All right.
Now, some places are very particular about the cans that they receive, so they won't receive like
Well, they're just gonna
really
paint it
old
again.
ones.
They're just going to paint the thing again, aren't they? And
Well, I
put
think
the
they have
Benson
to
logo on
they
it.
have to meet whatever code.
Safety standards,
safety
Ray.
code.
All right, well,
We
I'll
know
test
you're all
out the
about
theory.
I'm no
bro.
expert, but
I'll test out the theory today. I'll take it up to the Benson and see what happens.
His middle name is Danger.
like we only
Danger.
receive the white can.
The new ones.
Yeah.
You mean only the white cans?
Racial undertones, Ray.
Yeah, I'm
white and there's blue.
uncomfortable with this conversation.
There's white and blue.
You know what today is? Today is International Day of Pink. Did you know that?
No, I
Did
didn't.
you? Are you ready? Are
Is
you
it
ready
like
to find
breast
out?
cancer awareness?
No,
pink,
of course,
or
no, of
just
course
pink,
it's not. No, the whole world spins now on LGBTQ, and so it's International Day of Pink, a worldwide anti-bullying and anti-homophobia event.
Oh,
That's it. So, yeah.
So they own that color too.
I guess so. No more. We used to.
Let the real men wear pink.
Whenever
What happened?
I see a rainbow anymore, it's changed. My perspective on all of that. I just want to go
you
watch
never eat Skittles the same way.
Want to watch a rugby game? Let me see
Taste
here.
the rainbow.
Patty Cruz online. Pete Rivera, Mercy Wenzel is there. Pat Saho off of Patty Santiago, Jose Tepago Jr., Biba, Jesse Lujan.
Oh, Biba the body.
Watching up with us here today. I got Mike Grace Blas, Jane Nauta, former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez watching.
Just bring it back, man.
Oh, he's totally bringing it back. You know, he's trying to get the sunshine to Japan, though. We talked about that for a little bit yesterday, and I was trying to figure out how I can get myself on that particular mission. How do I get myself in the team, as it were, the away team to go out there to
Land of
Japan?
The rising Carl.
But I'm thinking,
You gotta get vaccinated.
Yeah. There's that, and even if I decided, you know what, I'll carry Uncle Carl's bags. And do all of that stuff. I'll be basically his butler. But the thing is, even if I got vaxxed now, I still wouldn't be. I guess the schedule, the window, because I think they're leaving on the 20th, right?
Yep.
So that's just a handful of days. It's like next Tuesday, Wednesday, and so there's not enough time in there for me to be quote vaccinated, because the vax takes what, 2 weeks to get? Why am I asking you? You don't know crap.
Man, I don't know anything.
It takes 2 weeks before you're fully vaccinated.
But do they consider that's not fully vaccinated, because you have to have the second?
Then you've got to have a booster on top of that.
The
So
second dose and then the booster.
Right, we're up to 25 boosters. I think Biden has had 25 of those things right now. Brendan Fausto talking on the thing. Jam like spam, he says. Linda Gabriel is on. Harvey Egna. Biba.
Oh, Biba Harvey.
Eunice Mendiola is there. Keenan McCausland online from the upper left-hand corner of the States. Matt Galendez and Dennis Larson says they are eating their dogs in Shanghai. There's a humanitarian crisis and a pet crisis going on, because if somebody tests positive for COVID and they have pets, they take the pets away. And I think they are dispatched in what has got to be completely kind of Chinese. We don't really care about the comforts of the pets. If we got it, we'll hit them with hammers until they're dead. You know, that kind of old school thing that they've got there. Crazy what's going on. Sarita Guerin, Easter egg drive-through at Guam Football Association today at 9. Not interested, baby. I know you got kids, and little Chancey's going to want to go and get a Easter egg.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's can I just say that the idea of an Easter egg drive-through, an Easter egg contest as a drive-through, that's against God's plan. You know, there it is in Holy Week. We're trying to remember the passion of the Christ, like Father William said.
The symbolism
of all of this. Well, I don't know about the egg, but it's just the whole thing. This is against God's plan. Jesus did not die on the cross for drive-through celebrations of Easter. We got to, let the kids go out there and find eggs somewhere. Someplace where you can actually hide eggs. We got all these parks. Remember they used to do this down at Camp Assen?
Yeah, and
that was just a
big crowd.
Same thing. Free for all. Just a major free for all.
Go.
Scatter eggs out there. You're not really looking for eggs. This is an Easter egg hunt, not an Easter egg pickup, right? So I think we've got to, in this post-COVID time, I think we've got to return
to, what the realness of the holiday, and that is going out there and getting disappointed because either your big sister, your big brother, or your fat cousins found more eggs than you did on Easter.
That's true, man.
Know what I mean? That's the thing. You got to learn to live with that
reason
Easter
for the
Sunday
season.
disappointment, crying to your mom, Shelly got all the eggs. Matt Galendez saying, good morning. I'm sorry I had to get that out of my system. Who else is on? Carlene Harker's there. Jason Dinkle. Brendan Fausto say, WTF, where's the food? And me, rum. What? What's that, Jason? Vote for Jason J. as he represents Guam in the American Song Contest next week on Tuesday. Jason J?
Jason J.
Wait. Oh, okay, so Jason
artist.
Dinkle. I need more details on this. I need more details because I'm looking at this going, is this a Jensen joke? Is somebody poking fun at the progressive Democrats? I just got to find out. Brian Perez online, Bob and Connie Martonico, and these guys, originally my running buddies. And so I seen them for the first time in 2 years at the reunion run that we had last Saturday. I said, well, guys look great. What have you been keeping yourself doing? Pickleball. Remember that game that we did the interview with the lady?
I do remember.
Pickleball, and apparently that's one of the big things that they're doing to keep themselves healthy. I said, well, what are you doing? What else are you doing? And apparently they've found a love for the golf course because I got some pictures of them on Facebook chasing around that white little ball. Tim Zedeker is there. Elizabeth Mendiola Kitsutu. Jose Martinez says, good morning. Just finished scraping ice off the car. Ooh, it has been cold out there these days. Auntie Bennett, Lohan, Dueña, Sabine, Chargaloff, and Dennis says, shh, Joe, don't give him my secrets. Who else is playing around? Gemma Bustamante. Hey, Gemma, girl, nice to see you online. They are playing rugby now, Ray. Girl with a man tongue.
What? A man tongue.
I don't know. It's Dennis Larson. I think he's already smoked this morning. I think he woke up and already started waking and baking.
Good man.
Jose Martinez in the 70s and 80s. University of Hawaii was all about the rainbows. I had my UH Rainbows gear as a kid, and now it's all about the Warriors. Warriors. Come out and play, yay. Sarita Garin, not interested in Easter egg drive-through as well, she says. Just dropping Mandy, and she volunteered. Dropped her off with the ROTC team. I was forced to drive her. Sarita, your beautiful daughter, Mandy, can reach the pedals. You don't need to drive anybody around anymore. And I know there's a concern. Well, what if she gets pulled over? Then what if she gets pulled? Then you've done a lousy job teaching her to drive. That's the thing. By now, she should be able to drive within about a 5-mile radius of the house anytime, day or night, and you shouldn't have to worry about her. We need to. This is one of the other things. Carl Gutierrez, I'm sure, will agree with me. We've got to get out of the habit of mollycoddling and nanny-stating our people here. You know what? Driver's license, 16 years old. And you know how I feel about that. I think we need to get rid of this idiotic progressive system that we have. Give the kid a written test, and you pass, you take the driver's test, and if you pass that, you're done. You got a driver's license. You don't need to go through heaven and hell to figure all of this stuff out. And when's the last time you saw a cop pull over just a regular car with somebody driving it for absolutely no good reason, right? If the kid ain't speeding, or yakking on the phone or putting the makeup on in the car, chances are pretty good they ain't gonna get pulled over by the guy. How many drunk drivers you think get let go just because they aren't driving like idiots? You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly what you
There
mean.
we go. That's going to be part of our conversation this morning, right?
Oh, I hope so.
And Stephen Ignacio and others from the police department are going to be joining us. Lady D is online. Mark and Francis Ishmael. Josh Desiree Lasonko watching the program. Ken LG. Levin is now recalling CPAP machines. I feel safer already. Those CPAP machines in the middle of the night take a life of their own. It's like Toy Story for CPAP machines. They just kind of go around and they move around by like they like a octopus has got those little suckers on them. It's the same thing with the CPAP machine. Just goes around in the room.
Mine looks like an alien ray.
Exactly my
Sucking on
point.
my face.
Exactly my point. Jose Martinez, but if you get rid of the progressive driver test system, 100 million people will lose their SNAP benefits. Oh, my God. I have not considered the impact on the children and the 15,000 families that are taking the SNAP stuff right about now. Look, how many people are on the road right now, this instant, that probably do not have a driver's license on them? right? I mean, never took the test, never took the written test, never took the driver's test. You know, how many? There used to be kind of a joke, you know, with the Korean contractors. These guys get pulled over. You got a driver's license? Nope. Do you have? How did you? You look in the truck. You know, it's just one of these like construction trucks with a screwdriver sticking in the ignition. That's how we got it started. This is safety inspection? No. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. You know, those are the guys that I suppose we ought to worry about. 16-year-old kids, they're just freaked out about driving to begin with. They'll be all right. It's 6:35 in the morning. Lots, as I say, to talk about here. We'll jump into news and headlines with Montesilva Tyrant. And then on the other side of that, may I tell you a reason why I am excited, thrilled that we've got people like Bob Klitsky and the Vigilance Committee out there ensuring that every time there is a government of Guam or a board meeting of one kind or another, some kind of a substance, they've got to announce it. They've got to announce it in print. One of the things I found out yesterday was they're supposed to be announcing it on the radio.
Oh.
Which means that the people that are charging advertising for this should include me. I got to set up a program here where boards and
just send them the rates, Ray.
Oh yeah. Oh, rates on this show, rates on this program here. But everybody will know about your meeting.
Yes.
Everybody will know. And I'll throw in the comments. They'll be longer because I'll throw in the comments like this one here. Alcohol Beverage Control Board notice of regular meeting. There's some interesting stuff in here. I'll share with you on the other side of news and headlines with Montesilva Tyrant. At 6:36, Mono, what happened?
Well, you might have seen a slight drop in the price for gasoline as it's gone down 10 cents per gallon. It's $5.69 per gallon of regular fuel, just a slight drop. Meanwhile, the governor has announced that she has released the first batch of payments under her program in Salapi. This gives eligible families up to $300 in cash to pay for gas. Meanwhile, the governor took some action on a number of bills that were sent to our office from the legislature in the latest round of session. A number of those bills were passed, but there were several that were vetoed. One of them would require a drug test for resigning government of Guam employees if they want to keep their employment rights. The author of that bill, Senator Tony Addis, says that he will seek an override. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Hi, my name is Montesilva Tyrant.
Take off my hat. Oh, my God. I'm going to have to not wear it now.
What do you like? I got lice or something?
Doesn't have lice.
Kind of pat
I'm like,
just flying
I'm
up my head.
distracted. You grab my hat, put it on. I'm like, what am I going to wear now?
Well, you weren't wearing it at the time.
Well, I'm going to wear it later.
I was, I was actually threatening.
It's like sharing a face mask.
What's wrong with that?
Correct.
Is there a thing? Next thing you know, you're going to tell me you and Phil have different toothbrushes.
We do have
Oh, my God. What's the matter with you? You know,
man.
they're not cheap.
That's weird.
It's 6:38 in the morning. All right, tell you what, we'll be right back. We'll take a look at some sunrise pictures from Sarita and Jeff while the commercials are playing. Don't move.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
Chili's has the seafood you crave and the flavors you love this Lenten season. Indulge in delicious Lent-friendly soups, salads, appetizers, and entrees. Like our loaded baked potato soup, quesadilla explosion salad, our savory Cajun shrimp pasta, or our mouth-watering grilled ancho salmon. Ask about our black bean burger options, like our tasty mushroom Swiss or old-timer with cheese. This is a limited-time offer, so hurry in and enjoy all the tasty Lent options this Lenten season. We're located on the second floor of Two Montians Plaza. At Chili's, savor the moment.
Absolutely. It's 6:39 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. And normally I put up the picture of that Nissan Sentra, the new one that they've got out there with all of the crazy, incredible, and super safe features that they got online all the time. They are not options. They are standards. You're going to love the price. I need you to test drive one of these things. And when you do, I guarantee one of the first things that you're going to say when you finally step out of the thing over at the dealer is you're going to say, there's no way this thing costs $22,900. No way. No, with all of the luxury in there, total redesign. It has got what they say is one of the 10 best interiors in the business, in the entire automotive industry. One of the 10 best interiors in the industry, and for $22,900. Plus whatever else you know that they're going to throw at you to make the deal even sweeter. Listen, I don't have all those details, but I know where to find them. NissanGuam.com on the World Wide Web.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
In 20 minutes at 7 o'clock in the morning, is it already too early for traffic? Well, I showed you some pictures of that Sarita took of sunrise on the way to the GFA. That's the Football Association, big soccer field and beach volleyball and tennis courts that they've got up there, where they're going to be doing a little bit later on the drive-through Easter egg thing. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of traffic there right now. Maybe it's just her on the road. Southbound Marine Corps Drive from Anderson Air Force Base, not bad at all. As usual, around this time, with no school in session, it's basically intersection traffic. So it looks like that's all it's going to be until you get into the downtown Nagatnya area, and there's nothing going on there, either because the government of Guam doesn't start until 9. We've got I'm sorry, I'm just triggering people. I know some of you have been there since like 7 o'clock in the morning. We got nothing major happening at 8, 10, and 16. 4 and 10 looking good. 4 into town looking groovy. And we got nothing but love all the way down to Big Navy in Sumai. 641, that's your right now traffic. This is The Point.
Half a day. Patsy Gogri from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns a property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. If it's a call, we are here to help.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Wait! I'm looking for a thing. There's is there a search reticle on the website? So Jason Dingle sent me a thing looking for Jason J. On American Song or something like that. And so I'm looking over this now to see where we might be able to find.
He's a Guam guy.
He's a Guam guy, I guess.
He's a Guam guy. Well, he lives in the States but has ties to Guam, obviously. And so he's on this national show. There's Florida, Georgia. Let's see if Guam is going to be coming up next. Guam, Jason
there
J.
You go.
Right
Yay.
on. Okay, hey. Yeah, I recognize this guy. I think
it's
It's from my village. No, because he's not wearing Sinai.
He is. Where is his Sinai?
I gotta have a Sinai. So, from Zotnya Rose, now a resident of Glendale, California. Jason J. is an independent artist, songwriter, and father of two, known for his distinct vocals and blend of island reggae and alternative music. Since Jason first started writing original music in 2004, he has now gone on to play multiple national tours and large raga festivals. He made the top 10 of the Billboard Raga charts in 2017 with his first solo release, Luminosity. Jason came from a traditional Filipino family and spent the first 23 years of his life surrounded by Guam culture and its musical influences. Love to hear some of this stuff. Jason, do we have any links? Maybe I can't play him on the radio. Or maybe you've got his phone number. Maybe you can get Jason J. call in and figure out how we can get all 160,000 people that live on Guam to go onto that website and vote for them. It's either that or there was another group of really kind of hot-looking girls from, I don't know, New Mexico. Or so you see that?
Yes, I saw that.
You want me to look for that one?
Oh, Ray.
Could I? Easy now. Come on. It's all right. California has a band called Sweet Taboo.
Oh, chicas. Yeah. Orale.
I know. 6:44 in the morning. You got that wearing the hat like Pia Mia. I mean, wearing the scarf like Pia Mia.
Yeah.
You know what? That's cultural appropriation. You got to give that back to Pia Mia at some point. Or be members of the Wolf Pack, as it were. All right, 6:44, Ray Gibson Show until 10 o'clock this morning. That's what we're going to be shooting for. Do me a favor, hit the like and share button on, if you're watching on Facebook, there's a little bell or something like that that you can click on YouTube, and that way, whenever we go live, you'll get a pronouncement on your phone. You'll get some kind of a notification that says we are on, and get ready for the feathers to fly on the programs. Who's playing around on the YouTube side? Who's your Big Daddy 06 online? Marlena Carbizito Castro. Marla is saying good morning to everybody. Joe Cruz. Are you over? Is that you over there? Are you the Joseph Cruz on that side?
Could be me, Ray. I don't know. There's a lot of Joe Cruzes out there.
It's okay. Lupang Guam online. Good morning, all. I was just going to say I'm here to back up Howard like the second string has been overpaid Colin Kaepernick, but I ain't bending any knees. Good man. Good man. Appreciate sticking with the script here. Yes to a real Easter egg hunt. And I don't know who wrote that. It's just I have hashtags. Why do taxpayers have to qualify for the gas money? In California, $400 was given to each and not by household. I was under the assumption that because we were using ARP money, that it had to be means tested. Because I remember asking somebody about that. Why can't we just, everybody that applies gets $100, regardless of what your incomes are and things like that. I don't know, everybody's doing it different. Japan Plus Guam says, Hava a day Guam, Kitsutsu in Japan. Good to have you online. Quick weather report. I got friends that are going there. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez is going to be in Japan next week, and I want to make sure that he's going in and to the perfect, cherry blossom weather. I mean, most absolute best time to be in Japan. Some say March and April are the right to be in Japan, but not necessarily Tokyo, because Tokyo can get damn muggy. You know what I'm saying? All right, so as we move on into the program, items in the table of contents, well, you need only look to the front page of today's Guam Daily Post. That's where I like to get things started. Lawmakers seek to override the governor on a drug testing bill. It should not be a problem getting an override. They had 12 votes initially, and they're probably going to say, no, you're going to have to deal with this. If it is unconstitutional, then you're going to have somebody like the Attorney General, or we'll have to test the case one way or the other. But it looks like things are headed in that direction. Gas prices dropped by 10 cents. And I danced long into the night. You know what? I was so happy that the gas prices were low when I got my spicy zinger sandwich. I said, you know what? I want extra hot packs. Can I get a couple of the ones with the black and white and red packs? And those are the ones that I like. I was so happy about that. $5 and about 69 cents for a gallon of gas. It's still up too high. It's over $5 a gallon. That's up too high for me. And you might be wondering, okay, now that it's down to that, what can we look forward to here in the future? I believe that the number there is down because Tapas is trading just over $100. It's $103.86 for a barrel of Tapas crude right now. West Texas, not as good. It was under $100 yesterday and trading right at $100 right about now for West Texas crude. That's the number that over a period of time will determine what's going to be happening with the price of electricity. And as I said yesterday, I'm hearing from people that are opening up their power bills and looking at their online dashboard saying, Puta lanya carajo, where is that? Oh, my God, that surcharge. Can you imagine? That's where we are these days, folks. And I don't know that there's anything, I keep looking at this stuff and I'm going in my head, it could be worse. It could be worse. There are places in California, $7, $8, $9 for a gallon of gasoline. I know what you're going to say. Well, they're taxed, and they are, and I don't know why the governor and the people of the state of California haven't looked at that and tried to get the same kind of relief that we're shooting for here on Guam. But amazing and predictable was as soon as we start talking about making some changes to the price of gasoline on Guam by eliminating the liquid fuels tax, GRT, and things like that, then all of a sudden, wow, here comes everybody in the government of Guam out of the woodwork saying, but what about this fund? What about that fund? How are we going to recover all of those kinds of money? You know how you're going to recover that money? I'm going to assume, I'll check if we get Daphne later on, but that Programman Salepi check, that $300 check that you're about to get from Ed Byrne, you have to pay taxes on that, right? I mean, that's income. It's income. It's not, it seems to me that there ought to be some kind of tax. So the government of Guam is going to get a piece of that. Not going to be all of it, but it'll get a piece of that. And then when you buy something with that $300, there's going to be business privilege tax that gets tacked onto that. Huh? You getting that? You feeling that? So it's not as though this is, going to be nothing but pain for the government. The government is going to get a little bit of a kiss when it comes to that as well. So there we go. That's a good news story. Chief Ignacio, police face split-second decision whether to use deadly force. This actually came up in conversation last night. Obviously, we all got to support the guys in blue, as Stephen Ignacio, the chief top cop, says. Nobody, gets dressed, puts on a uniform, and with the desire to go and shoot somebody by the end of the day. A bunch of just regular human beings want to go out there, keep the peace, and make it home to their families. That's all we're talking about here. But in the final analysis, and I don't know who gets to make this, we've had a couple of officer-involved shootings, and it occurs to me, was there an opportunity for pause in any of this? I'm reminded, a few years ago, another officer-involved shooting. There was a guy who was holed up in his house.
I remember
You remember
that.
The family was all terrorized, and they freaked out, and they left, and, it was just him in the house.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the place surrounded. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to be able to run away and hide.
But they made the cops wait too long, Ray.
Maybe. I don't know. So somebody decided that they were going to breach the house, and they did, killed the guy. And at the end of the day, I remember Scamby, of all people, saying, what the hell did you have to do that for? Eventually the guy was going to run out of food, or he was going to need to do the internet or dial the phone. At some point, you could have gotten somebody in there that would have been able to pause the situation and resolve it without anybody losing their life. Now, I wasn't there. I wasn't, a cop on the ground. I don't know to what degree there was this imminent threat. Yeah, the guy had a gun. What kind of gun was it? What have we seen the gun? We've there are questions like this that come up all the time. Remember the guy out at the cemetery? Another officer-involved shooting, and there were folks, members of his family, that I think to this day believe that he had a gun on a BB gun. It was a BB pistol or airsoft or something like that in his hand. So I get it. Split-second decisions on whether or not you're going to be using deadly force, but I hope that is part of the analysis here. Was why did things happen as quickly as they did? Why was it escalated so quickly that you couldn't have figured out how to put it on pause, bring somebody in to do a negotiation with them, or otherwise wait until the guy came over with something that was a little bit less lethal than a gunshot. 888-825-5888-TALK. You want to comment on that one way or the other. And then we got this story here. The sailor and his wife released. These are the parents from hell, ladies and gentlemen. We got the kids not just bumped and bruised, but broken bones and everything. Fortunately, the kid has not been released back to them. The kid is, if I read the story, is in child protective custody right now where it belongs, and hopefully is getting the kind of care it needs so that the child can heal properly. Just a 3-month-old daughter that is involved in this, and I hope that the daughter never, ever has a chance to meet these people in real life. I hope this becomes one of them. No, you can't have this kid back. Not even a member of the family. Take the child from you because you are just unprepared and not equal to the task of raising a child. And then this interesting little snippet here. Publicly funded news show promises to be fair. To be fair. Anybody gets the reference here, Letterkenny fan, and you know it. To be fair to all. We'll be unbiased in our reporting. Vice Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes, I'm reading from the rest of the story here, also shared the information about PBS Guam's news show during an April 8th presentation of new studio equipment. Congratulations, Ina. That's not hard. It's not easy to do. $500,000 worth of new stuff.
Congrats,
way to go. I understand. She said, based on the Lieutenant Governor's words and just from the PBS family, that you will be launching PBS News, joining our PBS counterparts in delivering fair, unbiased, accurate, and timely information to our people. So, hi, my name is Ray, and I am not a member of the news community here on Guam. I'm a radio personality. I'm a broadcast commentator. I get the news. I absorb the news, and then I regurgitate it back to you with my opinions and my thoughts on where this came from, where it is, and where it might be going. And I will, from time to time, exercise a significant amount of my bias because there's a whole lot of people around here that I think ought not to be in the positions that they're in, taking steps I think are not necessarily in line with the needs of everyday people on Guam. But I love this statement. They will be delivering fair, unbiased, accurate, and timely information to our people. What better gift that you can give back to the community?
Wow.
And so the question is, does that mean that you think that all of the other newsrooms, like KOM's newsroom, is not delivering fair, unbiased, accurate, and timely information? You think that the folks over at PNC, the PDN, the Guam Daily Post, et cetera, are not delivering fair, unbiased, and accurate and timely information? It's going to be so much better because it's public TV.
Yeah, no pressure, man.
PBS has started recruiting professionals from other media organizations to work on the news format show. You mean the ones that weren't smart enough to go get a good PIO job in the government of Guam at the changing of the administrations and new people over at the legislature? Mana's leaning back. Don't bring me into this, Raymond.
But to be fair, this is not the first administration to have such a publication.
Who did?
I mean, Eddie Calvo had one. It was a print publication. It was the Proa Weekly newsletter that was put out.
From his office.
And that was done.
But he didn't purport to be a news operation, did he?
No.
I mean, this
is part of the PBS.
It's organ grinder, yeah.
Yeah, so there's already a PBS news, but not a publication, but a broadcast.
Yeah.
So this would be the local version of that.
Okay, so that's
what I gathered.
Because at the end of the story here says Crystal Paco St. Augustine says Adelup is not getting into the news business.
Yeah.
Is not getting into the news business.
But isn't there a government channel? 10 something?
Yeah, there is. Raymond doesn't have cable TV, so I don't know.
When I was part of the Calvo administration, we used it from time to time.
Oh, I remember, yeah. It's like the legislative
when we did
channel.
The museum, we did the frequent updates on the museum and what was being put together for that. Hagutnya Restoration was part of that.
I personally, when we start talking about television channels, as I say, I don't have cable TV.
Right.
But if I had to,
putting a news organization is no easy feat.
No, it's oh my God. So get ready to spend all kinds of money, and I'm sure that some of these professionals from other media organizations are going to be coming in with wild salary requirements because it's the government of Guam. It's the government of Guam. Nobody
yeah,
gets.
But that's federally funded, Ray.
Well, what's it going to cost? I mean, I know what the operations of a newsroom cost.
They got a $500,000 grant from Department of Interior.
But I'm assuming that's for the equipment.
Please, here's a request.
Right.
Brush up on your green screen skills because there's nothing worse than having that weird green screen behind you.
No. I know what you mean. Well, I mean, depending on what equipment they got, and generally they buy decent equipment over at PBS. It might be one of those things where they've got the idiot button on the green screen.
And then
so
they
it's
got
just
super
like fall down.
talented photographers over there.
Very good photographers, producers.
Over there.
Yep. So Crystal Paco, the governor's director of communication, Tuesday said the fact that, quote, some of the best and brightest of the local news media pool are interested in contributing to PBS's future speaks volumes about the level of professionalism that small team of industry members displayed. And I can hardly wait to see their you remember the opening night? I can hardly wait to see that first broadcast. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. All right. But at least, I guess that means that there will be another news outlet from which we can pick and choose some of our stories. Yes, so that we can steal from. As we do with KUM and all of the other newspapers and PNC and all of we got the newspapers, we got the scripts from all the newscasts the night before, and just that's where we find our interesting topics of conversation. So I guess PBS is going to be the next big new one. So the question that we have now, and we can start putting this together, and it will only be interesting to us. I'll tell you right now, it's inside baseball. It will only be interesting to the people that are currently in the media. Is now who are some of the people that will be jettisoning their positions in the other news media organizations.
I believe that Pauly Suba
already.
I think he's already there.
Anybody else?
I believe so.
Patty, Chris, Sabrina, anybody else going to be And frankly, those are the only other names of people that I know in the business.
Well, I'll let you know I was not asked.
You were not asked. Okay. You know what?
Yeah, me neither,
Because they
man.
said best and the brightest. I'm neither of which. So
I wanted to say Guahu Joe Cruz. Guahu Joe Cruz.
And up in Saipan, how do we say it? It's the same way. Okay, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. That's some interesting stuff to us. 888-8255-888-TALK. Keep that number handy. 797-8255 is the number on the Mean Machine. You got anything else that you want to talk about that's fun and interesting? By all means, that's the way to get a hold of us. I'm going to take a talk break. We've got Fox News coming up here in just a second. On the other side of that, Montesilva Tyrant with a look at all the big news and stories of the day. And Jerry Roberts is going to come in and deliver a killer Wednesday extra point. It's all ahead right here.
The president says he's doing all he can. On Lisa Brady, Fox News, hours after a new report showing inflation hitting a 40-year high for the 5th month in a row.
I'm here today to talk about the work we're doing to lower costs for American families and put rural America at the center of our efforts to build a future that's made in America.
President Biden visiting a biofuels plant in Iowa and announcing an EPA waiver allowing gasoline that uses more ethanol from homegrown crops to be sold over the summer when it's usually blocked because of pollution concerns. It's a move aimed at boosting the fuel supply and lowering gas prices, which President Biden calls Putin's price hike over the invasion of Ukraine. Republicans say Biden administration policies are also fueling inflation. The president also talking about today's subway shooting in New York City, thanking first responders and civilians who tried to help fellow passengers.
Jill and I, my wife Jill and I, are praying for those who are injured and all those touched by that trauma.
His team in contact with New York's mayor and police commissioner. The attack injured 28 people, including 10 who were shot at a subway station in Brooklyn. Commuters running from the chaos.
It was just like a scary moment. Everyone was packed in that little station getting out. It was very scary.
The gunman first set off a smoke bomb.
Police say that he came into that train and he put on a gas mask as the train made its way into the 36th Street stop that was making its way into Manhattan, and he opened fire on that train car as smoke was billowing from the canister and then shot people on the platform.
Fox's Brian Yennis in Brooklyn. As the manhunt continues, police are also looking for a U-Haul van with Arizona plates in connection with the attack. So far, it's not being treated as an act of terrorism. He had one of the most recognizable voices in comedy.
I can't take it anymore.
Gilbert Gottfried has died. He was 67 and had a rare genetic muscle disease. America's listening to Fox News.
$15 might not get you that far, but Chili's is bucking the trend with $15 meal deals. At Chili's, $15 gives you not one, not two, but 3-course meal deals complete with a drink, a starter, and an entree. Mix and match 3-course meals 15 ways to Sunday with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start, and ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
The Pentagon and other U.S. officials are closely monitoring reports of possible chemical weapons use by Russia in Ukraine.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. cannot confirm the use of chemical weapons in the Ukrainian port city of Mariupol and doesn't think Ukrainian forces can confirm it either, but warns.
We had credible information that Russian forces may use a variety of riot control agents, including tear gas, mixed with chemical agents.
Blinken says the State Department is in direct conversation with partners to determine what happened. President Biden has labeled the killings of civilians in Ukraine as war crimes. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Russia's president still insisting his mission is going as planned, despite significant losses for Russian troops who are now focusing on eastern Ukraine after withdrawing around the capital amid weeks of fierce resistance. New York's Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin appearing in federal court to enter a plea on charges including bribery.
Benjamin told the judge he was not guilty of crimes federal authorities say stem from an alleged scheme that used his influence as a state senator. Benjamin was picked by Governor Kathy Hochul to hold the number 2 political position in New York State following the events that led to Andrew Cuomo's resignation. The indictment accused Benjamin of seeking campaign contributions from a real estate developer in exchange for getting that developer state funds for a nonprofit. Fraud, conspiracy, and falsifying documents are also among charges Benjamin faces. State Republicans have criticized Benjamin as a dirty politician in light of the charges. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
A strong start and a weak finish on Wall Street. Not a sell-off, though, but the Dow down 87 points after a triple-digit early rally. Elisa Brady, this is Fox News.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate with cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. For those split branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
On March 4th, Guam Homeland Security sent an advisory warning about Russian cyber attacks and recommended Guam organizations strengthen their cybersecurity postures. You might think your small business isn't at risk, but as businesses use more cloud and web-based tools, they're exposed to cyber attacks designed to snare victims of any size. Keep your organization protected with GTA's multi-threat security bundle. Visit gta.net or call 671-644-1000 for a free consultation today.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. A couple arrested in connection with the alleged abuse of a 3-month-old baby have been released from detention. 22-year-old Navy sailor Austin Johnson and his wife, 20-year-old Nika Johnson, were both released on $10,000 personal recognizance bond, meaning that they didn't have to pay any bail money up front. The Superior Court magistrate judge ordered that the couple have no contact and stay away from the 3-month-old daughter. Both are scheduled to appear back in court on April 29th. Now, the child remains in the custody of the Child Protective Services after being brought to the Naval Hospital over the weekend, where a doctor discovered multiple fractures on the baby's body. An ex-Guam Customs and Quarantine officer allegedly caught with illegal guns and methamphetamine is hoping to be treated for his drug addiction, according to a report in the Guam Daily Post this morning. Henry Alvendia appeared before the district judge yesterday. A U.S. probation office wants his supervised release in his federal bribery case revoked after Alvendia was arrested last December on drug and weapons charges. Defense attorney John Gorman, though, is asking the federal judge to delay the revocation hearing, adding that the drug case is set to go to trial in September and in August. Gorman, who is working to get Alvendia into the Lighthouse Recovery Treatment Center, said that Alvendia does have a drug problem. He told the court that he would make a request for Alvendia to be released from custody if he is allowed to attend the drug treatment program. Elsewhere in the news, the governor has taken action on a number of bills that were sent to her from the legislature in this latest session, and it's possible that senators may be looking to override at least a couple of those bills. The governor yesterday vetoed one of those measures that would require drug testing of resigning government of Guam employees if they want to keep their reemployment rights, as well as requiring employees to pass a drug test upon reemployment. Senator Tony Atta authored Bill 123. He told the Guam Daily Post that he will push for an override in the next session. The governor says Bill 123, though, is unenforceable and would violate the U.S. Constitution. The governor vetoed two other bills. One of them is Bill 236. The other is Bill 239, which establishes business license requirements for child placement agencies. Now, the governor did sign a handful of other bills. One of them is Bill 213 that grants an exemption for the construction of the 41 megawatts of reserve power generation in PD. We'll have more news right after this.
For the freshest deal around, check out the Make Your Own Salad Special at Ruby Tuesday Guam. From now until April 15th, you can serve yourself at their Fresh Garden Bar for just $8.99. And you can build up your plate with an add-on of grilled chicken breast or grilled salmon fillet for just $3.99 more. It's a fresh deal at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Gas prices are down 10 cents. It'll cost you about $5.69 for a regular gallon of gas. It's just a slight drop, but it will bring relief nonetheless. Along with that, Adelup has announced that the first batch of assistance has been sent out to help families pay for gas. The payments under the program in Salapi, which would give qualified applicants $300 in cash to pay for gas. Meanwhile, Supreme Court Justice Alexandro Castro on Tuesday appointed Guam Superior Court Judge Alberto Tolentino as judge pro tem in the criminal case filed against the Sinai Governor Ralph Torres. The charges filed by the Sinai Attorney General. This after all Sinai judges recused themselves from the case. The Chief Justice also directed all parties to file a motion to disqualify within 10 days from the date of his orders should they believe that there is reasonable grounds for the judge pro tem to be disqualified. Meanwhile, PBS Guam, a publicly funded and nonprofit provider of educational programming on television, will be launching its own local news format show. PBS station manager Ina Carrillo in the Post says the new program is in the works, which will deliver a news-like format to the community. She says it's patterned after the famed PBS NewsHour and will feature some of the island's talents in the daily news production. PBS recently received about $500,000 worth of state-of-the-art equipment using grant money from the Department of Interior. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
All right. So, interesting thing. I got Colin Clark on the Facebook Live asking, there are not laws about political signage here on Guam? And I was, so I looked it up, and Eddie Calvo back in like 2014 or something signed off on legislation. And I don't know that it has changed since then. There's no political sign may be erected or posted.
On government property.
Within 100 feet of any intersection. No political sign may be erected or posted within 100 feet of any intersection. And then it says the period for posting of political signs shall not be erected any earlier than 60 days before any special or primary election. We're 136 days away from the primary election here.
But I think that there's some issue.
Does it make any difference whether it's private property or public property?
Because political signs can only be posted on private property now.
Okay, so that was
So, I mean, you can't really tell people what they can and cannot post on their own private property.
Right. Well, I guess so. But I don't know to what degree any of this gets enforced anyway. It seems to me that the enforcing agency would be the Department of Public Works, and I don't know that they bother enforcing that kind of thing with as many signs that go up in as many different places. The thing that you do have to be careful of is make sure that you don't post your signs too close to an intersection or someplace where people have to like crane their neck and cockroach the car into traffic to see if there's cars coming behind it. There was a problem like that up in Gigo. Somebody died as a result of an accident that was caused by a sign that was blocking the view of the intersection. Anyway, 7:12 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Here it comes. The weather. It's going to be nice today. Partly sunny in the forecast. Highs near 86 degrees. I'll put the gizmo up on the screen so you can see what things look like in the neighborhood. East-southeast winds 13 to 21 miles an hour. We'll see gusts as high as 28, and that's why we've got high surf and rip current warnings that are in effect for Guam right now. Mostly cloudy tonight with lows of about 77 degrees. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Possibility of some scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. Highs near 86 degrees today. Heat index going to make it feel like 90 degrees for Friday. Is it too early to start? Never too early, right? Partly sunny in the forecast. Highs near 87 degrees. Sunrise coming earlier these days. It was 6:09 this morning, and sunset tonight will be at 6:34. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
When one of my family members needs to be seen by a medical provider for an illness or injury that's not life-threatening but still requires immediate medical care, I go to the FHP Health Center Urgent Care. With convenient hours, no appointment needed, and medical providers I trust, I know my loved ones are receiving quality medical care. I trust the FHP Health Center Urgent Care. You can too. For more information, go to www.fhpguam.com. FHP Health Center, the island's only truly dedicated urgent care.
Love those guys. 7:14 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by Chili's with the $15 meal deal. Mix and match 3-course meals with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to get started. Ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers. That comes with rice, bacon, ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course at Chili's. More life and great value happens there. Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
He's all growly when he's asking the question, too. Colin Clark, what laws are there for these political advertising signs? Are you in violation if you added them, removed them? Asking for a friend. Why, do you have a sign in your area that you don't like? You know, I will often take a look at some of the signage in my area and take a look at that and try to remember whether that is the same size as the windows that I still need shutters for. Right? You just got
forward thinking, man.
4x8s, a couple of sheets of plywood.
They got to come down anyways if we get a condition going.
And that has happened before.
I've only seen one out there, though, Ray.
Roy, is it Canetta? Yeah, Roy Canetta.
Huge signs.
He's got these big lips.
Wow,
you look at that?
Juicy.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking.
I'd vote for those lips, Ray.
That's not what I was thinking.
Okay.
I'm just saying. But he's got his big signs, but it looks like those are all on private property. Which is
even look my way.
Which is the gist of what we are talking about here in the break here, is trying to figure out who's in charge of what and who can do what. So are you looking it up? I can never tell what's on your computer. I was kind of hoping you would be looking it up.
I'm looking at franchise cost for Gold's Gym. Only because I clicked on a Saipan story.
Gold's Gym.
I found that there's a Gold's Gym in Saipan. I was like, oh, interesting. It's I miss Gold's Gym.
I miss Gold's Gym too.
So I clicked on it, and then I got curious, so it just kind of led me in a whole different direction.
Yeah, okay.
Now I want to own one.
Now you want, yes. Bring back Gold's Gym. Mona Roberts in tights.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Carolyn Long is on. Elizabeth Camet Brooks. Hi, Aunt Bit. Johnny Martinez. Patricia Canetta. There's MJ Regis. Renee Benny. Joe Jerry. Aaron X. Pierce is watching the program. John Song says, why can't GPA use hedging strategies to avoid fluctuating crude oil prices causing LEAC changes? John, that's kind of exactly what they are doing. Is they're buying at the current rate and trying to set some money aside so that they've got monies that will allow for that kind of cushion. So once every couple of years is when we do the LEAC. But when the oil goes out of control, as it has in the springtime this year, it has exceeded our ability at GPA to be able to pad and to cover that, which means that they've got to go into the LEAC. If they had not gone into the LEAC, when they did make the adjustment, it would make your eyeballs explode in your head. You would be looking at very, very significant jumps in the levelized fuel charges on your bill. Sorry about that. That is exactly what they're up to these days. But nobody could have predicted that we'd be seeing gas at what, $125 a barrel earlier in the year. Benny and Trish is online. Jessime Bora is hanging out with us. So is Cameron Mendiola, Debbie Hartzler, Bonnie Datwin, Dennis Larson, Martin Mendoza. What's that, Dennis? New York City subway shooting, 10 victims, and the guy just walked out. Nick Perlowski This is my island, Ray. Dennis Benzer, so the mural, he says. You know, the same way I feel about the god-awful Buttigley chain-link fence in between Kmark and John F. Kennedy High School, that's how Dennis feels about the mural at the library. And unfortunately, I think it's one of those things that he has to look at every single day. You know, it's not like me. I've got to look at the fence every day.
Yeah,
I think
me
Dennis
too.
has to drive by the library every day. Isn't every sign on public property supposed to be registered? Don't know about that. Scott Armstrong, Jules Tejano, Lorna Anicas. Hey, out there, Lorna's there. Jerome McDonald, got Rita Kitachai online. William John Shadowin in Utah, which is not Guam, FYI.
Hey,
That is
Bill.
a whole completely different place, somewhere deep in the free zone of the United States of America. Colin says, I need some signs for target practice in my backyard. I think you can just go and get whatever you want as long as nobody can. Look, this is the town. It is the town of Desaki Melania. Can I just riff on that for just a second? It is one of those things. I accidentally left the back gate to my place unlocked for a few hours. And
an invitation.
Oh yeah. And it
Thank
freaked me
you.
out when I came home. I looked at the thing and there's the lock is hanging on the hasp, but it's not closing. I thought, oh my God! First thing I did, pulled the gun out and I started walking around the backyard to see if somebody had gone in there and stole all my secondhand furniture. Yes. Fortunately, Real Joe, everything was as I left it before. But, I mean, there's just people just so unbelievably bold around here. Hold on. Dennis knows what I'm talking about. Here's Dennis Larson has on his property, on his side of the fence, a calamansi tree. Because we all need calamansi for making marinations and yummy teas. Yes? So here comes a guy. That's not Dennis's boy. By the way, that's not even a friend of Dennis's boy. Dennis doesn't know who that guy is, but that Saki Melania walks into the property and starts stealing calamansi right off the tree.
Yeah.
And he's not alone. Hold on a second. Wait, there's another somebody that's walking onto his property. Onto the behind. She slipped. That's a she, right? Okay. Yeah. She slipped past the gate and is now eyeballing some calamansi on the tree.
So we can just go there and
but wait,
it's okay.
But wait, there's more. What is it? More calamansi sake.
Oh wow!
Over at the place.
3 per trespasser.
I couldn't tell you whether it was all at the same time or on the same day. Is this a compilation of a week with a photo dump that he's making here on the program? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm telling you that, and you're lucky that Dennis is a nice guy.
Well, that could be a game cam.
That could be, game cam.
A game cam. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. They keep threatening to put game cams up in these places that are frequently,
good thing they don't know about the honey.
Yeah. Good thing they don't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
They tried that before. Yeah.
What's the Micronesian word for Glock? Do they have a word for that? Because maybe if you just put that sign up there, that people would know that you're just not allowed to do that. In my neighborhood watch chat, there's always a video or a picture of somebody that is helping themselves to something in somebody's yard these days. I got Joe McDonald, Brennan Fausto, Francis Sunga, Mike Schneip, Al Guerrero is online. Al Camacho and Danny Guerrero online. Norma Hagen and Juanita Machi. John says they got tired of taking your bananas. It's possible, John, that Dennis's bananas have been long gone stolen. Pam Duvall, go to Government House. They got bula fruits up there. And Sarita says, release the bees for the sake. And Randy Landis' sole comment is, bang!
We know what that means.
I know what that means.
But that's a public easement, Ray.
Whatever. It's on his property. Oh, you're going to do that easement thing. Okay. Anyway, 7:22 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. Let's take a look at what happened on the markets today. Is it any better today than it was yesterday? No, it's not. S&P 500 lost 15 points of ground, closing at 43.97. The NASDAQ off by 40 points, 13,371. Do I have a quote for Tesla? Under $1,000 today for Tesla, $986. Wonder if they're doing some kind of sell-off to free up some cash there, so that Elon can buy Twitter. Come on, Jerry, you want to see it? You want to see it? That's why he's not on the board, because he's going to do a hostile takeover.
Oh no, I think that could happen. But Elon doesn't need whatever Tesla has for him. Okay. Elon needs to go into the petty cash fund and pull out whatever he needs for Twitter.
Can you imagine what is the kind of dough that's in the under in his couch?
Cushions?
Yeah, between the cushions on the guy's couch. Can you imagine just what kind of loot he's got in there? 87.22 is the loss here on the Dow. 34,220. FTSE is down by 41. Nikkei off by 486. Hang Seng Index is up by 110. Shanghai up by 46. The Misery Index is down by less than a point here, and the DAX is off by about 67.83. As I said, looking at the biggest loser by percentage, and today that is the NASDAQ. What happened on the NASDAQ? Who's at the bottom? Intuit, AstraZeneca, DocuSign, NetEase, and IDX Laboratories. I've got CrowdStrike, Ross's, Lululemon, Apple, and Tesla round out the top 5 on the NASDAQ. Everybody knows how I feel about Lululemon, Apple, Tesla. As Jerry said, we don't need to worry about that. And I think at $9.86 for a share of Tesla, that people might actually start buying. They're looking at that like it is some kind of a bargain. Don't know what CrowdStrike is. Ross Stores. Is that the same Ross Stores as the ones that we've got here on Guam? Are they traded on the NASDAQ? Has anybody been to the Agana Shopping Center?
That's
store?
when the stock began to go up, when they opened the Agana Shopping Center store. That was it.
Well, you know the numbers. I'd heard this from somebody that was doing some marketing at Agana Shopping Center, and I said, is this still a viable location for you guys? And they said, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Sure. They said the demographics work like this. We've got the largest population of the island that lives north of the Micronesia Mall. Good place to put them all, if you ask me. Yeah. But 50% of the money that exists on Guam in terms of individuals with lots of capital to their name is south of the Agana Shopping Center. So if you can entice people, Sinahanya, Agana, down in the Manilao, beautiful Pago Bay area on either side of the road, down into Telefofo, where there's some pretty Tony houses coming up, and most of Cross Island Road. If you can convince them that they don't need to go any further than Agana Shopping Center, then you've got some real moneyed clients coming in. I ain't saying it's the new Beverly Hills, but maybe, huh? 725, Jerry Roberts is in the studio. Oh, a couple of last numbers here. On the commodities, we'll look at Bitcoin in a second. Oil trading at $100.98. It was...
That's West Texas, right?
West Texas crude, yeah. Tapas, on the other hand, at $103.86.
It's down.
Down, and I think was down enough for the gas companies to take a look. A dime.
A dime.
Think they could have gotten bigger. Yeah.
Oh, did you detect something in my voice?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. After the spanking that they got from Mike St. Nicholas the other night, that's all they could do was a dime.
That's a dime?
Come on.
And it's still going down.
And it's still going down. Watch and see. We'll see where this is going to be going. And then we've got the Bitcoin number, Real Joe.
39,655.
39,000?
Yeah, it creeped up a little bit.
From where? Wasn't it in the 40s the last time I asked?
No, it was in the 36, 37 range.
Why do I have the numbers in the 40s in my head? What did you do to me?
It was 40s like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you slipped me something, bro. Anyway,
something. One thing before we go to the extra point about Musk. Now, I don't know whether Musk is really a good guy or a bad guy. I mean, it's hard to figure when people in that kind of a group, and there's very few in that kind of a group. But here's the benefit to having Musk around.
His opinions seem to line up with mine, so I'm going to say
so far,
put him down as a definite maybe. Yeah.
So far they do. Okay,
we could be buddies, I think.
All right, so. The best thing about having Musk around is that everybody in like the Zuckerberg right in area, I mean the serious bad guys,
yes,
right? They have to be looking over their shoulder all the time at this guy because he could pull a thing on Facebook the same that he did on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Just like that. I
Absolutely.
mean, if you can get the stock, you can do the same thing to Zuckerberg that you just did to Jack Dorsey and the guys at Twitter. So all these bad actors have to be looking around saying, this guy's got billions of dollars at his disposal. He can get any amount of money that he wants, more than the $300 billion he's got. He's got access, with that kind of money, he has access to much more. and he can take your company out if he decides to do it.
Okay, so, and we all looked in the last week when he became the largest shareholder of Twitter. We all looked at that and said, all right, maybe this is a harbinger for change. Maybe we're going to see things balance out a little bit more, but they're still, do a shadow banning on that. Trump still has not gotten his thing back. There was a lady, and all she had posted is something along the lines, to all the rainbow people out there, we're okay with your sexual orientation. We just don't need it in our face all the time. Do you need to have constant affirmation and confirmation? Because otherwise we'd like to just be able to go on with our lives. And they deleted her account. They kicked her out.
Yeah.
And so you just go, okay, well, this is still going on, even though Musk is the big guy.
So he's not going to be on the board now.
He's not going to be, but he's not. I don't know. I'm not feeling his gravity in there just yet.
But that allows him to get more than 14.9% of Twitter, because that was the qualification.
Yes.
You want a seat on the board, he had to agree to taking less than 15% of Twitter stock. So
he did not agree.
He did not agree to that.
We're waiting now.
He said no deal, and so now he can go out and get any amount of Twitter stock he wants.
Exactly.
And get rid of everybody if he wants to do it.
At 7:29 in the morning, we'll watch and see if that happens. We've yacked too much, and we're going to jump into news before we get to the extra point here. News at this hour being brought to you by Burger King with the all-new Whopper Melts. They've got a Whopper Melt, a spicy Whopper Melt, and they've got one with bacon that Real Joe cannot get enough of. They're celebrating 33 years, only going to be here for a limited time, so check them out today over at Burger King. 7:30 News also brought to you by our friend Lolita Kamet, my Auntie Lolita, now at Half a Day Realty. Give her a jingle, a new place, but the same old goals to make your real estate dreams come true. 688-6743. And Principal Broker Joe D. Duenas. Now with news and headlines, here's Montezuma Tyron. Off the money, what happened?
Well, the Supreme Court, all of the Supreme Court justices over in Saipan have recused themselves from hearing the criminal trial against the governor, CNMI Governor Ralph Torres. And so the duty will now be transferred to the local court here on Guam. Superior Court Judge Alberto Tolentino has been tapped as the judge pro tem. The Supreme Court, the judges in the CNMI will have 10 days to issue their opinions on whether or not they believe that he should be recused as well. Meanwhile, a couple arrested in connection with the alleged abuse of a 3-month-old baby have been released from detention. The two Navy sailor Austin Christopher Johnson and his wife Nika Johnson, both released on $10,000 personal recognizance bond. The Superior Court ordered that the couple have no contact and stay away from their 3-month-old daughter, who was brought to the Naval Hospital over the weekend, where a doctor determined that the child had multiple fractures over her body. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
All right, thanks, Mona. 7:30 in the morning, we jump into Jerry Roberts with this morning's Extra Point, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. Jerry?
In your career, I'm sure you've had a lot of good ideas. These might have been ideas to improve a procedure or strategy, or in some way bring a benefit to your employer. One day, many years ago, I was talking about ideas in a training course I was conducting, and the conversation took a very unexpected turn. I'll tell you what that is, what it was, after this in the Extra Point.
This is the sound of connecting with nature, connecting to each other, and the sound of connecting with your finances. With First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app, you have the power to connect with your finances like never before. With real-time tracking on your financial goals and tailored updates on your accounts, First Hawaiian Bank is putting the power of connection at your fingertips. First Hawaiian Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
So I'm delivering a training at one of the hotels and was suggesting that everybody should go back to their workplace, and before the week was over, they would come up with some kind of an idea to make something, anything, better. I was making a point that most employers do appreciate when team members spend time to carefully consider how to generate improvements. When this 30-ish guy, 30-year-old guy, so to speak, raises his hand and says, "You've obviously never worked for the government of Guam." As you might expect, it drew a pretty decent laugh. So I said, "No, I haven't." I knew he did work for a government agency, and I said, "I guess you're telling us that ideas are not welcome in the government." That kicked off an unexpected and unplanned conversation, but one I thought was valuable. So the man then says he had contributed many ideas, and they were indeed welcome. What they were not, in his experience, was acted upon. In the first 5 years in government service, he had offered plenty of ideas. None of them ever saw the light of day. He gave up. In the 10 years after that, he hadn't bothered. He just came to work, did his job, and left. I asked the rest of the class, about 25 people, if anybody else had experienced anything like that. Several hands went up and stories were shared. I found it interesting that more than half of those folks spoke of disappointment in sharing ideas in the private sector, and that took me by surprise. Most people I knew in private business were always on the lookout for ways to make improvements. I related to the class something I'd learned from my first boss and mentor, Big Ed. He made it clear to everybody that there was a tried and true way to do every job, and we should do it that way, unless we had a better idea. If it didn't use any more resources, if it was just as fast or faster, and if the end result was just as good or better than the quote-unquote regular way, then we were free to use our method. However, if it failed on any of those three tests, then we did it Ed's way, and we liked it. And that was his rule. And we loved it. We loved the way that he put that forth. So it was our decision. But if we couldn't figure out a better way, a real better way, then we would do it his way. In the year and a half I was there, we changed a few things. And we did a whole bunch more the old way. And that was fine with us. I told the class I had adopted Ed's ideas and principles in my company. Every employee had the right to do things his or her way until they discovered it was not the better way. I encouraged them to tell their bosses about my story, and that maybe it would help them. I don't know if it did or if they did, but to finish off that part of the discussion, I said it was a shame that many of them had decided to stop contributing ideas. I also said I thought they had hurt themselves by doing so. And a look of confusion came across some of the faces looking back at me, and I explained. I told them that creativity is a muscle, and like any other muscle, it has to be exercised or it will shrink. You know, you've heard it, use it or lose it. In my opinion, people should continue or should have continued to contribute ideas to their company for three main reasons. Number one, maybe, just maybe, somebody will listen and do something with the idea. Number two, it shows that you're engaged in the process, and that says good things about you. And the third idea is actually the most important one. It lets you flex that creative muscle. The idea that you give may not be a game changer, but the next one might, or the next. You see, great ideas usually come out of a pile of good ideas, and then somebody adds something to the good idea, and it becomes a great idea, and you have a hand in that. So if you have an idea that you think could help, do you? Well, whether you toil in the local or federal government, the private sector, or the military, write it up and submit it to your boss. Then the next time you have another one, do the same, and then the same, and keep them coming. Do it for your employer and the mission. Do it for your team. Most of all, do it for yourself and the good feeling you will have when you get creative. Just do it. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show on First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Well, I just got a notice from Amazon that an item that I ordered, when did I make the order? Oh, hold on a second. I'm looking for the order date. October 22nd.
Oh, yeah, just filled
of 2021.
Just filled it.
They are just now filling it. It is a Samsung
congrats,
8. I know, right? I'm so happy.
It's amazing.
It's a Samsung 870 EVO 1 terabyte 2.5 SATA 3 internal SSD drive that I need for one of the important computers around here that I've needed since October of last year, and now it's finally coming in.
Thank you, Jeff. That's happening.
No, I'm just wondering if there's other things I've got. Yeah, there was another thing. It was a handheld gimbal stabilizer that I ordered again. Let me see if I can find the order
for your
date.
Beer, Ray?
What's that?
Is that for your beer?
Everything is for beer.
Okay.
Everything is for beer.
Stabilize
And
your
I
beer.
originally ordered this November 29th of last year, and it's finally on its way. This was actually supposed to be somebody's Christmas present. And the damnedest thing is the birthday is passed as well, so I'm going to have to come up with another excuse to hand it out. 7:37 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Yes, it is happier days. I thought it was going to be, just an average day because it was Wordle in 7. Okay, so you know what the big problem is now? I'd kind of forgotten I'd ordered these things, and my credit card is going to get nicked for one of these fancy camera gimbal things and solid state hard drive.
Double up the order on you and send you 2 of each, bro.
God, I can only hope. It's 7:38 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. Ray Gibson over here. Montesilva Tyrant coming up. We'll look at traffic next.
In celebration of our 33rd anniversary, BK's new Whopper Melts are here. Our Whopper Melts feature 2 slices of toasted bread layered with 2 Whopper Junior patties for a quarter pound of flame grilled beef, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce. Whopper Melts now available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our big Whopper fans. Top off your meal with jalapeno cheddar bites and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Whopper Melts now available for a limited time. BK, Tumon Bay, Aganya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK your way.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
All right, maybe next hour, because I don't know Jack when it comes to political science, having never run for office. Although it's some of my favorite political science. There was a guy who's running for office years ago, and he had a reputation as being kind of a drug guy, and so. You remember this? They took his face and where his eyes were, they just drew little X's to make it look like he was stoned. Oh my God, those were funny times. 7:30. But please do not molest the signs. I'm sure it's just as bad as molesting turtles.
No, there were people who were actually setting Ray Tenorio's signs on fire.
Right.
Ray and Tony, remember?
And then there were the guys that kept harassing the Mike St. Nicholas signs in certain places over by Wendy's in McGill. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. So here's just a thought. Well, no, because it'll come off as mean. I'm just saying, don't Photoshop, girls. No filters. No filters. Just make a nice picture. I mean, go with a nice photographer guy and go. You know what? Ismail's wife. Go find Ismail's wife. She's got great skills, and there's things that she can do that will erase pounds and lines and years and all of those kinds of things. Just right click on Ismail's name here on the Facebook Live, and he'll get everything set up and take care of the business for you. You'll have to listen to him talk though. He will be in there while you're taking the pictures. He's going to say, I've been following you at the legislature. I'm not crazy about any of the bills that you've introduced, and I think you're kind of a borderline communist, aren't you? Aren't you? Talk to me, answer me. 7:41 in the morning. All right, sorry. I digressed. I was supposed to be talking about traffic. We're in the heavy traffic hour, so let's see if I can find us some heavy traffic around here. Nope. Because there's no school today, no buses, and nobody trying to jump into car lines. Anderson Air Force Base, maybe a tiny bit of traffic through there. You might find some at the intersection up in Gigo, a little bit of intersection traffic getting out of Dededo, and then on to Marine Corps Drive. 1 and 3, maybe a light. We'll see some traffic a little bit more as you move into the Harmon area. Not sure exactly why. I want to right-click on this and put it up on the screen so that you can see what I'm looking at. Looking for a landmark. All right, near Picas. Okay, across St. John's, that area looks like we got traffic moving slow in both directions. Maybe it's intersection traffic. Maybe somebody's figured out a way to get into some kind of an accident. All right, not too much else going on. A little bit of intersection traffic between there and downtown Agutnia area. And then, of course, we end at Big Navy in Sumai, where traffic, believe it or not, is almost non-existent. It's 7:42. This is The Point.
Back at it again with the Lenten season menu with Mezcla, giving you a variety of food you can enjoy and pick from, like the fish tacos, spicy buttered shrimp, parrotfish escabeche, lobster pad capral pasta, crab-crusted Chilean sea bass, and more. There you have options. Offered at Hagåtña location for lunch and dinner only at Mezcla. For reservations, call 671-479-2652. What are you waiting for? Let's go celebrate the Lenten season with Mezcla.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dedo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Turn up. King Hydro. It's 7:43 in the morning. Get yourself into a brand new Nissan Sentra. They got all kinds on the lot, all kinds of crazy colors, and all kinds of standard features that you are going to love. They've got these blind spot, detectors that come with the car, and there's I want to say it's the one where we've got a little light on the mirror on this side, on the right side of the car, and there, if it will let you know that there is something there. You might not be able to see it. You might not even be able to see it in the mirror, but there are sensors that say, hey, there's a car over here, so you might not want to drift into this lane. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely one of the safest things. I wish they'd had that when I was learning how to drive when I was a kid. They got all kinds of other great standard features that you will find at a price that's going to knock you out. You're going to look at this car and go, okay, that's $50,000 worth of just gizmos on this car. It's like $22,900 for a brand new Nissan Sentra, and you know they're going to make the deal even sweeter. All you got to do is go and find out. Test drive it today at NissanGuam.com. The predictions are already out for summer. Are you going to be doing any kind of traveling? My name is Ray. I'm not vaccinated. I'm not boosted. So if I desire to travel, I'm sure it's going to be a pain in the rear end. So I am not generally going to worry about this, but they are saying now brace for a rough summer in the friendly skies. Faced with massive staffing shortages, airlines are cutting flights to avoid cancellation crises. JetBlue told staff it reduced May capacity 8 to 10%, and you can expect to see similar size capacities pull for the remainder of the summer. It joins Alaska Airlines, which is cutting back by 2% because they've got a shortage of pilots. I didn't think there was going to be all that much demand, coming out of COVID at this time, but I guess there is. There was a time before COVID. You remember United had actually opened up their own training facility because they couldn't count on any of the usual channels of training to come through for them, so they just started their own. I don't know if they're doing that again. One other thought here, and somebody sent me a meme I want to share with you online here. It kind of you've seen it before. I guarantee it. It's a picture of Hermann Goring in the Nuremberg trials in 1945. And they asked him the question, how did you convince the German people to accept all this? He said it was easy. And it had nothing to do with Nazism. The only thing the government needs to turn people into slaves is fear. If you can find something to scare them, you can make them do anything you want. And in the beginning of COVID-19, and even still, all about fear porn, right? All about, there's a Omicron, and now we've got the BA.2, more to scare everybody with these days. And that's how you get 26 million people to stay inside. The Chinese government's strict COVID lockdowns have ground one of the world's biggest, busiest, and most modern cities to a halt. I've been here, and I cannot imagine that it is as empty and quiet as it is. Scenes of residents rationing vegetables and begging local officials to allow them to search for food has cast a shadow on the Chinese government's COVID response. Shanghai residents across the city are scrambling for food as empty grocery shelves, unreliable government provisions, and strained food delivery services make it hard to secure enough for the average person to be able to eat. Extreme lockdown conditions and censorship in that country mean journalists can't easily report from the ground. Shanghai residents have turned to social media for support, posting photos of their few remaining vegetables and videos of people demanding local health authorities allow them to leave their buildings to go forage for food somewhere. There's a video posted on the Chinese social media platform Weibo showing a drone flying around a Shanghai neighborhood, broadcasting to residents to remain indoors. Stay inside, guys.
Yeah.
Shanghai authorities have forced children who've tested positive to quarantine separately from their parents until they test negative. What they're looking at right now, Xi Jinping has signaled the country must continue their zero COVID policy, and that means intense pressure on local authorities to eliminate outbreaks no matter the cost, including, I'm hearing through some social media, there are people that are just giving up and jumping from their balconies.
Politically difficult for Xi to admit error. Later this year, he'll be pushing for a third term in office. But that's what. Can you imagine? There's a picture. I want to get this on the screen as well. And it's a picture of a little girl. Her name is Vera. And Vera, not very old, like I said, just a little girl. And she's got all these markings on her back. You know what those are, Real Joe?
No, I don't.
It's her name, her birthday, and telephone numbers for members of her family. When the family was evacuating the cities in Ukraine, the mom was very, very concerned that they might get separated. And somebody, or they may get killed. And the little kid might survive, and they wanted to have some mechanism, some way, if she was found, so that the people would know this is her name, this is when she was born, and these are her parents. Here's my even as much as here's my Instagram account. So one of these days she'll know what her mother and father look like. Can you imagine that kind of desperation? Oh my God! 7:48 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show, Utah John coming up. But first, I got Simon Sanchez on line. Dos. Good morning, Si.
Hey, Ray, thanks for reminding us what Churchill had said, where paraphrasing him, democracy ain't perfect, but I can't think of anything better, right? It's a better way to run society, because when you look at communism, Russia and China, you can see that I'd rather be free in our country than not free in their countries.
We wouldn't even be able to say that if we were living in Moscow and in Shanghai.
Exactly. Yeah. God bless America. God bless Guam. So,
amen to
some
that.
good news for you today. Actually, it's the first one I'm sharing with that we haven't sent the press release. So we went to the market today, and we refinanced an older debt at 5% down to 4%, more or less. I'm rounding.
Wow.
Right? Net present value savings was about $6 million for our ratepayers. In terms of the debt we got rid of would have been we would have paid $6 million more had we not gotten rid of it. So we saved $6 million for ratepayers, and our debt service savings in the early years is about $10 million. And so very successful. We had 7 times what we needed. We needed a little under $300 million. We had 7 times subscription demand. So that was good. So there's investor confidence in the People's Power Company that it's a good investment. And more people wanted to buy than we were able to sell. And that's always a good sign in terms of what the world thinks of the ratepayer-owned Guam Power Authority and whether it's a good investment. And so congratulations to our people. Congratulations, John B. and his team and our underwriters, Wells Fargo and B of A. So
anybody buy any shares in that new debt from here over at Asia Pacific?
Yes. There were 2 or 3. I know you know at least 2 of them, but I will not reveal their names. But yeah, there's always been a couple. There's been a couple of players here that have been long-term players in GPA and GWA paper for many years. It's tax exempt. It's really, really good. So so we had some local inquiry purchases as well. So yeah, but a successful closing. But you know, the
same term. Are we talking about the same timeline?
Same timeline for
to pay it back. You went from 5 to 4, but is it the same term?
It got extended. Yeah, the term got extended, right? But when you look at the interest rate savings and the way we've structured the debt, we pay a little more in the later years and we save a lot more in the early years. But the reason we did that is when we start paying the higher debt on this refinancing in the later years, other debt we have comes off the books. We will have paid off.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of levelizing your debt over time, right? And the savings helps us afford the new generator. You know, we're going to have to pay those folks for their plant. But the fuel savings is huge. And now we have some debt service savings we get to add on top of that. And that's how we'll lower power bills once the new generators and the solar farms are fully functional, right? So, yeah. And there was some discussion and disagreement. I know some of the senators that voted against it, you know, they're saying, yeah, but you're extending the debt. But your interest rate savings was significant enough. And but the way we're layering it is when that debt goes up, other debt is gone, so that you're kind of like our mortgage stays level. In fact, we'll actually go down in the 2030s, right?
Well, but and who knows where interest rates are going to be in, towards the end of it. It was an opportunity to refinance it again.
And people need savings now. We want those savings to help pay for that new generator, and we want them now. We don't want to wait. And we could have leveled it off, but then we could have kept it. We could have kept it the same, but we would have ended up leaving $5 million on the table. But the other lesson learned is we started working on this last spring with the legislature, and we couldn't get the support initially, but then Senator St. Augustine saw the benefit. He got the bill finally introduced in September, but you know we didn't get it approved till last month to go to market. And I looked at the numbers a year ago. We would have been at 3% interest instead of 4% interest because the Fed went up. We would have had debt service savings of $15 million a year, not $10 million a year, and our net present value savings, the value of the all the savings over time in today's dollars would have been $15 million, not $5 million. So to me, we kind of left delay cost our ratepayers $10 million. And all I ask is, when we work together with our senators and the governor, let's work quickly on this stuff. We have a lot of experience in finance and refinancing, and we know how to do this. And we knew that we should have done it sooner, and it just took us a little longer to get it through the public process, and that left money on the table for our ratepayers, which none of us want to do. We want to save every penny we can for them.
Everything has changed since Joe Biden took office, and everything has changed even since Ukraine was invaded by Russia, and everything is connected one way or the other. You got to move as fast as the time seemed to be moving. At 7:53 in the morning, that's not the reason why I wanted to reach out to you. I wanted to congratulate you and the Power Authority here. It looks like all of the hurdles have been cleared. The governor signed off on the paperwork yesterday, and you can now put your new power plant in Cabras.
The small portion of it, right? Remember, the big portion is up at Ukadu, but this nice backup now, we have permission to do that. Now we can let KEPCO know, and they can complete their discussions with their banks, and they now know there's a local law that would allow them to put some of their capacity down there. And it was actually a tribute to the local attorneys that represent them. They realized the law existed. They were the ones that brought it up, and they said, hey, if we do this, what about this law? And thanks to their local law firm, I think Don Calvo and some others were involved with that. They pointed it out, and we fixed. That's what this law now fixes. It now allows clean, no bank wants to loan money to a project where there's a question mark about anything really, and this eliminated one of the question marks. And so a lot of great team effort to pull that off, and we're thankful to the legislature for passing it and to the governor for signing it. Now let's go make it work.
When can we break ground?
I know they've already cleared some grading up at Ukadu, and that's the main.
No, down at Cabras. When is that landscape going to change?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, that's JB can give you the details, but now that we know that they can do it, they'll do it. It's modular anyway. So the main thing is you're building the big plan in Ukadu. As you bring those generators in, when you bring them in, then you'll put them in Cabras. And on their side, they're going, I don't want to borrow the money for the generators, the small generators, any sooner than I have to, right? When you, like a house, you build it, you're borrowing your money as you draw down. You don't always borrow the whole cost of your house up front because you're paying interest on it right away. So I can appreciate they want to delay borrowing what they need to put in what they need to. So I suspect that generator will be one of the last pieces they move into place just because they don't want to borrow the money on it any sooner than necessary. And they want to be able to turn it on, and because that's how they get paid, right? They don't make energy. We don't pay them.
Gotcha.
So,
7:55.
Anyway, something like that. Good question.
Well, then pass a pat on the back to everybody. Good news, and nobody's hearing it unless you're hearing it first on this radio station. Is that there has been refinancing, went from 5% to 4%. Could have been 3% if you work faster over at the legislature and get things moving. As I say, as quickly as our times these days are dictating. We can't.
And $5 million in savings for our ratepayers, nonetheless.
I gotcha. All right, 7:50. Okay. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Hug and a kiss to Auntie Lou. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Ray. You take care as always.
Promise. 888-8255. Johnny Utah from the Free Zone. Good morning, Johnny.
Good morning, Ray. Hey, I wanted to talk real quick about Jerry Roberts' extra point. He's awesome. I love his extra point.
Thank you.
It's a great thing that you guys do that. But his extra point this morning was regarding giving your ideas for improvement to government agencies, and I work for GMH, and I'll tell you from experience. And I was going to tell you one real quick story about something that happened to me there.
Sure.
I'm not going to say don't do this. Don't suggest ideas to the government. I think you should, and I continued to do it even though I was discouraged. But I had a situation where you're familiar with those X-ray machines that they drive through hospitals that you go in a room and take an X-ray with, correct?
I'm sure I've done it myself, yes.
Okay, and those things are extremely heavy and can be dangerous machines. Especially if you were to have your foot ran over by one, it would crush your foot and break it. So at any rate, during the height of the pandemic, well into a year of it, they had made the wonderful decision of moving non-COVID NICU intubated babies that were on ventilators up into the COVID area, and they just put a plastic wall up and separated the babies from the COVID area with a plastic wall. That was it. And it was a surprise to me. I didn't even know they had done it. And I had to go, and there was an order to go up there and do an x-ray. So I went up there to go do the x-ray. Well, they had all the tubes and the power cords and everything from the ventilator for the babies laying across the floor, and they wanted me to drive that machine across all that equipment, the wires and everything that were on the floor that were keeping that baby alive.
No.
And I refused to do it. I said, no. I said, this is not safe. What you're wanting me to do is going to endanger that baby, and then you're going to blame me because the baby's going to die, because the ventilator's going to shut off and it can't breathe.
Right.
And you're telling me you were... So at any rate, long story short, it turned into a big old fiasco where they ended up the house supervisor, everyone up there was screaming at me saying, I'm refusing to do my job. I said, no, I'm not refusing to do my job, but this is a safety issue that needs to be addressed immediately. We need this taken care of right now. And they couldn't fathom that. They just couldn't see it.
Well, I mean, never mind driving the X-ray machine over it. Somebody could have tripped over it and pulled the plug out of the wall or yanked the tube out of the baby.
Wait. So I was ridiculed and treated with disdain. Said that I was
dumb Howley.
To do my job. I mean, it was awful, and that's not the only time. I had numerous situations where I came up with good ideas, great ideas. It was always with safety for GMH to improve the processes there. And you know what happened? I got ran out the door. I got chased off.
No, we want to keep doing things the way we have always done them, and there's no point to changing anything. I don't know. I always think that it's easier to maintain the status quo with, and because if we find a better way to do things, a more efficient way to do things, it just means people have got to work harder, and everybody's got to achieve that new level of efficiency and achievement. 7:59 and change. Johnny Utah, appreciate your time, and I'm glad that you spoke up, and I'm sure that the parents of that baby are, whether they know it or not, are glad you spoke up as well.
I agree. Yeah, thank you, and I pray that things at GMH get better.
Every day, there's a whole lot of candles that are lit in with that intention. I got a breakaway. I got Fox News next, Johnny. I'll see you soon.
All right.
Adios, muchacho. You have a great day. Closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning. Stand by now for the latest around the nation and the world on the Fox Radio Network.
I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The NYPD still searching for the suspect in this morning's shooting at a subway station in the borough of Brooklyn. The man may have found his vehicle.
We have no idea what the connection was, but we do know that the NYPD was warned to take extreme precautions if and when they did encounter this U-Haul van. So this is good news that they have at least found this van right now. We know that they are looking for a 5'5" black male, about 180 pounds, heavy set, somebody who was wearing a green construction vest and a gray sweatshirt.
Fox's Brian Yennis in Brooklyn. Police say 10 people were shot, another 18 were hurt. Well, in Iowa, President Biden offering comfort for those who were hurt.
My wife Jill and I are praying for those that are injured and all those touched by that trauma. And we're grateful for all the first responders who jumped into action, including civilians who didn't hesitate to help their fellow passengers and try to shield them.
The president saying he spoke with New York City Mayor Eric Adams and has offered assistance in the investigation. Russian President Vladimir Putin is vowing to continue the invasion of Ukraine until, as he put it, its goals are fulfilled, and he insisted the campaign is going as planned.
While there are no longer Russian forces around the Ukrainian capital, they're still firing missiles from Russian territory and territory in Belarus. Alexander Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, acting hand in hand with Russian President Vladimir Putin this week. They're trying to change the narrative on this war, saying that the Russians are not targeting civilians, but in this city of nearly 3 million people, there are civilians. They are trying to get back to a normal life.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Kyiv. On Wall Street, stocks indexes edged lower, shedding early gains as investors looked at new data on inflation. The Dow minus 87, the NASDAQ off 40. America is listening to Fox News.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate with cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want with your Visa debit card. Brothers Put Branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
Hafa-day, Patsy Gogri from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns a property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
The British Prime Minister is hit with a fine for breaking lockdown rules.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his Finance Minister Rishi Sunak facing calls by critics to step down after being among those fined by police in the so-called Partygate scandal involving COVID lockdown breaking gatherings at Downing Street in Whitehall. The Prime Minister apologizing but refusing to quit, saying his job is to get on and deliver for the people of his country. Carrie Johnson, his wife, also fined. This makes Johnson the first sitting British Prime Minister in history to be punished for breaking a law, which also happens to be one he made himself. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Some of the country's largest retailers are rationing baby formula due to a recall.
A recall of baby formula by the maker of Similac and other leading brands is accelerating an already spotty supply in much of the country. As of Tuesday, Target, Kroger, CVS, and Walgreens have limited the quantities of many baby formulas that consumers are able to buy online or in some stores. A spokeswoman for Target said its stores in many states have a 5 per day limit on baby formula at the request of the Food and Drug Administration. Many parents say that baby formula has been hard to find after supplies were further strained by an expanded recall by Abbott Labs, one of the biggest manufacturers, after consumer complaints of bacteria contamination that could cause severe illness in infants.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. Some of the people who make things to sell on Etsy are halting sales of their items for a week to protest an increase in the fees the craft selling site is charging them. Starting this week, Etsy sellers must pay a 6.5% commission on each transaction, up from the 5% that's been in place since 2018. One organizer says thousands of sellers are taking part in the protest. If true, that would only represent a fraction of the over 5 million people who sell on the site. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Howdy and Hafa-day, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. KFC is your go-to place for Lent. All of my delicious KFC Lent favorites are back this season, including the seafood Kelguin, popcorn shrimp, the seafood twister, the wasabi fish sandwich, and the fan favorite, the KFC shrimp burger. And just like my famous KFC chicken, the entire Lent menu is available for delivery. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Technology is the great connector. It puts songs in your pocket, connects long-lost friends, and has made the world easier, faster, and smarter. And now, First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app can help you do the same with your money. Whether you want real-time financial tracking with MoneyMap, or tailored advice on your personal finances with daily insights, we're giving you the power to connect to your finances from anywhere, like never before. First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line and you pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit Nambo.com for more information.
Off a day, it's 8:06. I'm Montesova Tyburn with a look at your local news on the point. The governor took action on a number of bills sent to her office from the legislature in this latest session. And some senators say they may be looking at an override, at least on a couple of those bills. The governor yesterday vetoed a measure that would require drug testing of resigning government of Guam employees if they want to keep their reemployment rights as well as requiring these employees when they come back to take a drug test. Senator Tony Atta introduced that Bill 123. He told the Guam Daily Post that he will push for an override when they go meet for the next session. The governor says Bill 123 is unenforceable and would violate the U.S. Constitution. In her veto, she also vetoed another couple of bills. One of them is Bill 236, which relates to increased transparency on government purchases or small purchases, and Bill 239, which establishes business license requirements for child placement agencies. The governor did sign a handful of other bills. One of them is Bill 213 that grants an exemption for the construction of a 41 megawatt reserve power generation in PD. Also from the legislature this morning, there's a roundtable meeting that will be held this afternoon from 1 to 3. The committee is chaired by Senator Telena Nelson, and that will call Guam Customs and Quarantine to the roundtable to discuss their budget, the current status of the CQA hazardous duty payment, as well as ARP funds and the status of where those monies are being spent. Well, gas prices are down 10 cents, bringing the cost for a regular gallon of gas to $5.69 a gallon. It's just a slight drop, but should provide some relief at the pump. Along with that comes news from Adelup that the first batch of assistance has come out under the Programa Talapi. This would give $300 of cash to qualified applicants to help pay for such things as gas. We'll have more news right after this.
Go green, go hybrid. Go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
A Saipan Supreme Court justice has tapped Superior Court Judge Alberto Tolentino as judge pro tem in the criminal case filed against the CNMI Governor Ralph Torres. The charges filed by the CNMI Attorney General. Torres is accused of misconduct in public office, theft, and contempt. Now, all CNMI judges recused themselves from hearing that case, sending the case now to Guam. The Chief Justice also directed the parties to file a motion to disqualify within 10 days from the date of the order, should they believe that there's reasonable grounds existing for Tolentino to be disqualified as a presider of that case. An ex-Guam Customs officer allegedly caught with illegal guns and methamphetamine is hoping to be treated for his drug addiction. Henry Alvandia appeared in the district court yesterday. U.S. Probation Office wants his supervised release revoked after Alvandia was arrested last December on drug and weapons charges. The defense attorney, John Gorman, has asked the federal judge to delay the revocation hearing, adding that the drug case is set to go to trial in August. Gorman, who is working to get Alvandia in the Lighthouse Recovery Program, told the court that he would also make a request for Alvandia to be released from custody should he be allowed to attend the drug treatment program. And attorney Mark Smith wants a federal judge to grant a judgment of acquittal, a new trial, and arrest of judgment in all the counts in connection with his wire fraud conviction. The request was filed in the district court on Tuesday. Smith is seeking acquittals on all counts, arguing that the government's theory of property fraud was defective. Among other arguments, he was accused of receiving housing payments as a landlord while acting as the attorney for the Guam Housing Urban Renewal Authority. Prosecutors allege that Smith attempted to conceal his ownership, naming a friend as an owner of the property. He was convicted on those charges, and sentencing is scheduled to take place on May 18th. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
8:11 in the morning. Just fascinated with what's going on in Shanghai. The latest news being reported by Al Jazeera. It looks like they've tweaked lockdown rules amid COVID-19 surge. The city will be divided into 3 tiers depending on recent cases amid rising anger over food shortages and a lack of necessities. Shanghai has eased a punishing citywide lockdown that it imposed to break a surge in cases, the biggest test of China's 2-year strategy to stamp out the disease wherever it appears. In Shanghai, they have introduced a 3-tier disease control system, allowing residents in areas where no cases have been reported for 14 days to leave their homes as long as they follow health protocols and remain in their sub-district. Those living in areas where no cases have been confirmed for 7 days are allowed to collect food deliveries or take a walk at designated times and locations. City health official Wu Quenya emphasized the need for continued controls at a press briefing. He says after a long period of lockdown, it's understandable that people want to go out and get some air, and they need to go shopping for food and medicine and medical treatment. But if lots of people gather in a disorderly way, it will cause hidden dangers to our epidemic prevention work. Get this now. The size is one of the things that will boggle you. What have we got, 19 villages here on Guam? Of the city's 17,600 communities, some 7,000 remain in the strictest lockdown designation. People there are required to stay at home. Now, the zoning would be updated regularly based on the situation in each community. Our principle, as always, is to strive to minimize the impact of the epidemic on residents' daily lives. By locking them in their house, that's minimizing the impact of the epidemic. I don't know what their numbers are. I don't know what the numbers of deaths associated with their version of Wuhan is. Shanghai lockdown, which was initially supposed to be, where we've seen this, was initially supposed to be for a few days, has fueled anger among residents who have complained about food shortages and a lack of basic necessities. Tuesday, the U.S. said it had ordered all non-essential consulate staff to leave the city, citing the COVID response. The U.S. earlier advised its consulate staff to leave and also urged Americans to reconsider travel to China due to arbitrary enforcement of local laws and COVID-19 restrictions. A big conversation that is taking place right now about all of that. So no matter how tough you've got it today, maybe you wordled in 5, maybe you wordled in 6. Maybe you got to worry about the calamansi tree and the second millennials that are coming by. Could be worse. We could be living in Shanghai right now. It's 8:13 on the Ray Gibson Show. Here it comes, the weather. Nice day today. Partly sunny skies in the forecast. Highs near 86 with a heat index. It'll feel like 90. Watch out for gusts coming out of the east up to as high as 28 miles an hour. Scattered showers and thunderstorms always a part of the forecast. You never know when it's going to sneak up on you. Mostly cloudy skies are in the forecast for tonight. Tomorrow, about the same thing. Partly sunny during the day, mostly cloudy at night. It was nice getting to the car this morning. I looked up at the sky and saw lots and lots of clouds, but I saw patches in there where I could see the stars, which indicated to me that we might be coming out of this. Sunrise not until 6:09 tomorrow morning. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:34. It's 8:14 in the Ray Gibson Show.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Get a personal loan for that summer vacation or to pay off those long overdue bills. Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña, now at the old Nambo Insurance Building at 475-4545, Upper Tumon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, here to serve you.
Are you looking for a new place to hang out with your friends? Let's go along the sidelines at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Located at 154 Iriarte Road, Unit 4 and 5 in Tamuning behind Royal Bigs. Sidelines, a hidden gem with nothing but great things to offer. Great atmosphere, great food, top shelf drinks, and a great team. What are we waiting for? Let the fun begin at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. See you there.
8:15, Ray Gibson Show, portions of which brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home, and Ron and Kim over at Security Title. You buying a piece of property, you know what's important? Knowing the DNA of that property. These guys be able to take it back centuries. It's true. Find out by making a phone call to Security Title.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
8:16. You know, I got to remind myself, I got to take a look at they've got a census deal from like 1950. And it's an island-wide census, and I'd seen the ones that they did before, and they release them on kind of a timely basis. They keep them in mothballs for forever, to protect everybody's identity, and they don't generally show it until virtually everybody in the census is dead. But I'm dying to take a look at it because I want to see specifically what Hagåtña looked like. who was living in Agana in those days. And it was nice to see they did one from about 1920. And I remember looking at that and being able to see my great-grandfather and his family, all of the Underwood kids under one roof out there. I always thought that was the most fascinating thing in the world. And then fast forward to 1950 and see how many of the changes were that took place as a result, maybe of the war. 8:17 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. And I got to get this lady on the radio. It's been so long since we talked. Daphne Shimazu from the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Buenas. Zanhofa Day.
Happy day, Ray. How are you?
You know what? I'm good. Prayers from all of us in the family. I know how close you were to Uncle Paul and the rest of the family, and just multiple sadness all around. And we hope that everybody can find some comfort and grace through all of this.
Yeah, thank you so much. We love Uncle Paul so much, and we miss him a lot, and so we really appreciate that.
I run past the house in Agana yesterday, and there's still quite a number of activities that are taking place, and it almost felt natural to look over the fence and see if Uncle Paul was there.
You know, Uncle Paul loved to get together at Grandma's house, and so of course, you know that it's a fitting place for us to do. We've been doing our family rosaries, and we're going to continue to just pray for Uncle Paul and until he comes home. And so, you know, we're hopeful he comes home soon, so we can, you know, do lay him to rest. And so, yeah, you know, again, thank you to everybody for their prayers. We've been very grateful. I know our family's been so grateful for the outpouring of support, and just felt a lot of really great people have really reached out and shared their stories about him. Some things, of course, that, you know, maybe we may not even have known. As you know, Uncle Paul he did a lot of, back in the day, he had brought Santana to Guam. There was quite a few concerts that he did, and he was just a great lover of music and arts, and so we just, of course, I think the music community, and you know, just will really miss him, and also sports as well. So, you know, he was really really all around. And I was talking with one of our good friends the other day, and you know, Uncle Paul just had this amazing way of making you feel like when you talk to him, you're like the most important person, you know, and that you were all that kind of mattered at that moment. And what was amazing was that he made, you know, so many people feel that way. And so, of course, we'll really miss him. And, you know, we pray for Auntie
as every day passes. I find somebody or some a reminder out there. And yesterday it was nice to see the letter to the editor and part of Uncle Carl Gutierrez's commentary about Paul and all the great things that he brought to Guam. And of course, his great personality. Now 8:19 in the morning, and somebody had asked me to reach out to you for something, and I first said, well, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, there was a death in the family, so I don't know if she's going to work. And apparently, you're still going to work, Daff.
Absolutely. You know what? We continue to work here at Rev and Tax. We have a lot of things happening here. We're gearing up, of course, for the April 18th deadline, which is next Monday. And so for those individuals who have not filed their return, you know, please make sure that you either do so or that you file an extension by April 18. If you do not file an extension and you have to pay, it makes it so much more difficult and costly, especially because, so what happens, Ray, if you owe taxes and you do not file an extension, you get the failure to file. There's a failure to file and the failure to pay penalties. Of course, the extension is the extension of the time for filing, not the time for payment. But the failure to file is a huge penalty. And so, you know, we highly recommend that you either file your return or you go ahead and make an extension. You can file an extension online at myguamtax.com with or without payment, but it really makes a huge difference if you, you know, of course, if you don't extend. And so we highly recommend, again, that if you haven't filed, go ahead and do that, but or file an extension. But we are seeing quite a lot of people here. In fact, since about 7, when I was driving in, there was already a line. And,
that could be just for driver's license, sweethearts. I had somebody go get a renewal. Actually, they lost their driver's license, so they needed a replacement, and it was something on the order of 4.5 hours before they were able to get that done.
So what we'll So we do have, so I can tell the difference between the two lines because we have designated two different entrances to our building. On the right side of our building, if you're facing it, if your back is facing Route 15, the right side of our building is for income tax, the left side is for driver's license. Just to share with you, Ray, oh my gosh, our team actually, and I was just talking with our supervisor in driver's license, we have been here at least for the last 2 weeks until about 7 o'clock. Each evening, trying to just make sure that we serve our people in the driver's license side, as well as, of course, trying to make sure, if you recall, back in December, we did issue or make an announcement that we would about the extension, the automatic extension for driver's licenses, which really went through March 31 only. So of course, we had extended it multiple times through this, through this COVID period. And so we did not extend it past March 31, but what our deputy director was doing over the last couple of days heading into March 31 was walking the line, making sure that we addressed especially those individuals who had to renew prior to March 31 in order to prevent themselves from having to take the written driver's exam again.
Oh my God,
because they were. And so, she was walking the line, and what we did was make sure that for those individuals who were not able to be served, but who came in the last few days, we took their names. We served them over the last couple of Saturdays. And so, again, we tried to make sure that for those people who did come in, that we addressed that. But our team actually has been working until 7. We've been trying to make sure that everybody who comes in the door by 5 is served. Either before we leave at the end of the day, which again our days have been quite long, to 7, or we make sure we make arrangements for them to come in at a later time. And again, I want to give a shout out to all my team on both sides, driver's license, the tax and non-tax side, because we've been doing our best to serve them.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and unfortunately, there's a lot of demand because of all of the extensions, and that just meant that there were more and more people that were finally going to show up once the deadline had finally the red line was finally put in place. Another issue. A buddy of mine bought secondhand another fella's Jeep, and guy says, "Well, you just go over to Rev and Tax, and we'll just get a new registration, transfer the vehicle." He said that took a long time to get done. But the other thing was an unusual deal where part of the fee was based on the Kelly Blue Book value, a percentage of the Kelly Blue Book value. And I said, but not on the price that you actually paid for the vehicle? And they said no. And I thought, well, that's unusual. Why is it done that way? Do you know?
As I understand it, when you do do a transfer, it's based on it's based on the value of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, of course, we utilize Kelly Blue Book as the value, and again, that's what I understand. And so, when you do a transfer, or when you make a sale of a vehicle and it's used, or if it's transfer, the registration amount is actually based on the value, and that's what I understand it. That's how I understand the law reads as well. But that is something that again, that's been in place, and that's
ever since. I mean, maybe a concern that somebody is going to go, somebody, how much you buy it for? $1. Guy sold me the car for $1.
Right. And so, again, it's based on the value, and our team, again, our vehicle registration supervisor has been with us, I think, almost 30 years. So, he has great experience in making sure that we follow the law. And, again, I myself, as I've transferred vehicles or I got a used vehicle and I had to transfer, it was based on the value of the vehicle.
Why is that? Why is that required? Why would it be based on that number? Couldn't it be just a flat fee?
I suppose it could be. Again, I'm not sure of the history of that, but that is currently how it is administered, and that's what the law is.
Because I think if it were I think if there was a flat fee and it was like affordable, just enough to take care of the bureaucracy behind it, and it also seems to me that you probably don't need to actually have a face-to-face transaction at the Department of Rev and Tax. Maybe spend a couple of minutes and look at the process and see how much of that can be automated.
Right, but in terms of the use or ownership changes, of course, because of there are different things that can be done either in face-to-face or online. And whenever, for example, even on the driver's license side, if there is a change in address, if there's a change in your status, course, we require you to come in because we want to make sure that whoever comes in, whether it's driver's license or vehicle registration, that really, we go ahead and confirm your identity and that we're not, transferring information or transferring ownership for an asset to somebody that may not be, or there may be some, issue later. So, of course.
Wait. Can I, hold it.
Ownership, sure.
You just said when my address changes, then you want me to come and change my driver's license?
So for a driver's license, as you know, you can do a driver's license renewal or replacement online, and but what we do require is that you do make a change in your address. If you're going to change your address, you actually have to come in. If you're going to change your name or make a change to your information, you actually have to come in. If you're going to keep your address or keep the information and there are no changes, then you can go ahead and make those, just go ahead and renew online. And that's actually.
Can I just tell you, I don't live in Barragata Heights anymore. Can I just make a mental note there that William doesn't live there anymore?
I think Shelley's going to have to charge you for the use of
that address. But even that address would not be the same one. That's interesting. I don't know how many times I've ever picked up and moved from one place to another. The thought that I needed to change the address of record on my driver's license never, ever, ever occurred to me. That's funny.
Right. So you could do it online. We've done our best to try to put as many things online as possible. So far, and we're going to continue to do so. But when you do your driver's licenses and you renew it online or replace online, you have to leave. All information must remain the same. If you're going to make any changes, you actually have to come in physically to do so that we can make sure that we we confirm that it's you. Because what we don't want to have happen is for you or an individual to go ahead and change the address. We send the ID to someone who isn't you because of someone decided they wanted to try to do it on your behalf, or and again, we do see that happen. In fact, I think someone might have hacked my Facebook account or something, or started a new Instagram account for me, and I had to report that recently. So again, it's not that's not uncommon, unfortunately.
James Howard asking, what if you have multiple addresses on island and off island?
So, of course, the driver's license and Guam ID are really meant for you to be a Guam resident, and so if you should really have a Guam address if you're going to be getting a Guam driver's license. And in fact, when people do move to Guam or say they are here for over 30 days, the law actually requires that they change out their license to a Guam license instead of having an off-island credential.
Wow. Okay. It's too much for my small brain to fathom here this morning, so I think I'm going to let you run. So tax day on Monday, and if you don't have everything that you need, file the extension so that you don't get pinched on the law. Dav, I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for letting me touch on a couple of non-tax issues here as we speak.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ray. Have a great day.
All right. See you soon, sweetie. 8:29 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. And there it is. That's a big deal. A bunch of other stuff coming up here in response to some of the questions that have been hurled at me, Joe, by our viewers and listeners. Colin Clark is asking questions about political signage. And I can think of no greater authority on this than His Honor Bob Klitsky. We'll see if we can get him lined up in the next little bit to talk about what may or may not be happening right now. And when I say may or may not be, what is prescribed by law? What about zoning and things like that? And to what degree will anybody pay any attention to it in this election season as we move closer and closer, 137 days, 136 days away from the primary election, and more individuals that believe that they need your attention one way or the other and will want to put up a sign on the ITC building. The whole thing, just one big all-in sign, right? Is that what we're looking for here? I did get this note while I was yakking about something else from Raspberry. Say, I'm driving my boy to school this morning in a Guam bomb with an I'm in sticker, driving the car alone, masked, and blissfully unaware of the sound of his almost flat tire going round and round, making that flub, flub, flub noise. I got next to him, beeped, and pointed at his tire, and the driver flipped Raz off.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect metaphor for this administration. Hope he enjoys his morning. 8:30 in the morning. Hope you're enjoying your morning. Got Montesilva Tavern with their last big look at news and headlines coming up next.
Back at it again with the Lenten season menu with Mezcla, giving you a variety of food you can enjoy and pick from, like the fish tacos, spicy buttered shrimp, parrotfish escabeche, lobster pad capral pasta, crab-crusted Chilean sea bass, and more. There you have options. Offered at Hagåtña location for lunch and dinner only at Mezcla. For reservations, call 671-479-2652. What are you waiting for? Let's go celebrate the Lenten season with Mezcla.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Coming up, I'll tell you about the hottest new or among the hottest new apps for your phone. Anybody want to make a guess as to what it is? What does it do? Is this something I can continue flirting with people on? Is this something that we can use, I don't know, to change the world? Will it overtake things like Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and Wordle? I don't know. I'll tell you more about it in a couple of minutes. But right now, Montesilva Tavern has got to grace us with that last big look at news and headlines. Havamana, what happened today?
Well, the governor took action on some of the bills that were sent her way yesterday. She passed a number of them, but she did veto several. One of them would seek to require drug testing for resigning government and Guam employees if they want to keep their reemployment rights. The governor says it's unconstitutional, but Senator Tony Atta, who introduced that bill, says that he's going to seek an override. Over at the legislature this afternoon from 1 to 3, the committee that oversees customs and quarantine will hold a roundtable meeting. The chairman, Senator Talina Nelson, wants to discuss the budget, CQA hazardous duty pay, as well as how the agency has spent ARP funding. That, again, will be from 1 until 3 this afternoon. And senators are scheduled to resume session tomorrow, where they will get to that resolution that addresses the governor's public health emergency. Senator Chris Duenas was able to place his resolution on the session agenda. He's going to call for the committee of the whole. His resolution seeks to cancel the governor's public health emergency, which the administration says could threaten emergency assistance to thousands of Guam people. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
All right, so there's an app. There's a new app out there, and according to at least one of the places that I clicked on a second ago, it is the downloaded up to 315% more times this year than ever. Rising social app. It is called Be Real. What? Be Real.
Who's real in social media? Anyway?
Well,
I have a problem with that name, sir.
Already?
Yeah.
The real Joe Cruz?
My lawyers will be calling.
Be Real Joe Cruz.
Jay Ariola will be contacting them.
As the name suggests, is focused on real, authentic connections and unedited view on social sharing, designed to help people take a step away from overly curated feeds of other apps. Be Real, according to them, is the simplest photo sharing app to share once a day your real life in photos with friends. Every day at a different time, everybody will take a picture within 2 minutes, capture and post in time to discover what your friends are up to. So you'll get a notification on your phone that says, and it will, what it wants to do now is it will take a picture of you, a selfie picture, and then it wants a picture from the front of your camera.
Oh, God help
Whatever.
us.
Well,
how many times can Joe go to jail?
I don't know how many times Joe's going to be able to go on to jail for it. Where'd you go? What'd you get me? What'd you get? Who was at the door?
The cops, man. The cops are here.
They're here already?
They're here for you.
Paul is here. Yeah. Come here. I'm
no, man.
guilty.
Yeah.
Take me in.
Speaking of jail.
But anyway, so we've got, they don't have the code for the door?
No, they don't, man.
We should probably give them one. Anyway, so I was telling Mana, this Be Real Joe app, the way it works, users are prompted to share an image of what they're up to. You've got 2 minutes to share it, and then you upload it using the front and reverse camera. So we've got the selfie of you and then whatever it is that you're doing.
So if you happen to be in the bathroom at your scheduled time,
Uh-huh.
oh, you're in trouble.
Well,
I think I like this, Ray.
You like it.
Yeah.
It's the Be Real app. It's a simple process, clearly catching on. Downloads of the app increasing 315% since the start of the year, according to people that watch that. The momentum is increasing, and one of the other reasons why it's a big deal is it's like Wordle. You can only do it once a day. So it's not like you can dress up your apps. I mean, I don't even think you can put like text or pictures,
better come correct then,
emojis
right?
or anything like that. You can emoji on your comments, right?
But do you decide when you're going to post, or does
no,
it decide?
you've got 2 minutes from when you get the notification.
Oh.
So everybody will get to see at the same time what everybody is doing. So
if you're up to no good, you have 2 minutes to get back into good.
I might be outside gardening. Real Joe might be out hanging out with Ruckus, going for a bike ride with Ruckus. You could be at the house taking care of the dogs. I mean, it doesn't always. I'm sure, because I'm not always in the bathroom. Unlike some people I know. Kevin. Be Real is the name of the app. Go ahead, download it. Waste some time with that. Why don't you? It's 8:36. I might take another look at what's going on in the traffic. I might take a look at who's hanging out with us on the Facebooks and the YouTube as the program continues.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dededo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Crop King Hydro.
You could be shopping. You could be out shopping and do the Be Real thing. CNET says it ain't real, and it makes it look like everybody is having boring lives. Because that's what it's going to get 90% of the time.
So we can't fake these awesome lives?
No, you cannot. You cannot. There's no filters. I don't even think that you can add text to any of these things. I could be wrong, because I'm looking at something that looks like a Be Real out there. Now, the question that the people are asking is how much longer until Zuckerberg either buys it or steals the concept like they did with TikTok and some of the other things. Know what I mean? 8:38 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK is the telephone number. Who's playing around on the line here? Wow, big crowd today, and still a large crowd. John Song's there. Dave Duenas watching the program. Randy Landis, Susan Topazna Bajkusa, as I said, Raspberry online, and Bill Marino. Buddy Charlie, Hermosa, Jose Tetpahagu, and Ismail. The extra point today was off the mark. What? Military leadership. When they want your opinion, they give it to you. Those CO suggestion box I've seen where the suggestions never make it to the CO, because the CO has more important things to do than listen to your ideas. The only ideas authorized come from the good idea fairy within the leadership itself. You know, that's what years in the military has taught this guy. I appreciate every once in a while hearing from people with great ideas on different ways that we might be able to. In fact, James Howard recently sent me an email full of interesting ideas and things that we might pursue here on the program. Good ideas. J.R. Rebanal is there. Anya Sablan Leon Guerrero is watching the program. Hey, my birthday's coming up. Can you? I'm not going to say ooh, but I know that there's a lot of people that you might recognize on the Facebooks and whatever, friends of mine that might want to do some Ray Gibson birthday shopping at Coochies.com. Just saying, baby. Just saying. Jess Franquez is there. Dina Cruz, Ketson K. Samore is on the show. Urbano Caremius, Carl Meyer. I got Colin Clark, Julie Canetta, Simon Sanchez, responding to some questions about, okay, you save some money on this debt that you just got from 5% to 4%. How is that going to save the ratepayer money? Simon answers, we save $10 million a year in debt service that will help reduce the cost of the new generator. Without it, rates would have to go higher. This is a tool for cost avoidance. Savings from GPA are always passed on to ratepayers. That's why the base rate hasn't changed. Hold on a second. I clicked on a thing and I lost the rest of the answer. Well, you can scroll up if you want to. There it is. That's why the base rate hasn't changed since 2013, despite rising costs of labor, health insurance, retirement benefits, repairs, and maintenance. What is changing on a frequent and freaking me out basis is the LEAC. Gina Kono is online. T-Rod, Tony Rodriguez is there. Nice to see your name there, buddy. Norma St. Nicholas. Can we start calling her Normal? I don't know why. There's a thing. When I see Norma on, I always add the L at the end of it. Norma, your new name on the Ray Gibson Show on Facebook Live family is now Normal St. Nicholas. I got Ismail. Don't forget the Chinese at the beginning locked the sick in apartment buildings and then set them ablaze. Dona Mila Martinez is there. Charles Craw. Try starting the drug testing from the top. In reference to this loophole that the senators are trying to close, and the governor says, no, he can't do that. Try starting the drug testing from the top. Let little Lutdis lead by example. JZ Tatmanglo is watching. Raspberry actually posting a link to some interesting videos coming out of China. My buddy Brandy's online. Nick Prolosky, Patty Uggan, Julie De La Rosa, Kay Turner, K-E-A Turner. I don't know which one is the K-E-A. There's three beautiful women in that icon. Real Joe, click on that and see which one is which. Marvin Francisco online, Dave Rowley, Boris Hertzlet. The DL is a document that proves you can drive a vehicle. What does the address matter? Boris, I'm with you. You know, it's kind of a libertarian thought here. We need something that says, yeah, you've got a driver's license. Here's who you are. But there's so many things that get attached to it. People want now for identification purposes. Never mind your social security. Just give me your driver's license number. I'm like, why? It obviously, none of what's in there except maybe the color of my eyes and hair are permanent. My weight.
Those eyes.
Thank you. Don't look at me. But my weight is even different than it is on thing. Dresses, etc. Donson, Augustin, Lindsay Kanata watching the program. Bill Mora and Tony Elgin, beautiful girl driving a newer SUV beside me. Noticed she had a flat. I get her attention, say hi. She says, I have a boyfriend. I said, that's great, but you have a flat. She says, oh, can you help me change it? I replied, wait, let your effing boyfriend do it. That's funny. Who else is there? Ray Polino is watching the program. Two. Who's on two? Is it my...
Senator Tony Atta.
Oh, Senator Tony Atta's on.
And then, of course, we have Judge on line one.
Oh, man, I don't know. Tell you what, Judge, hold on a second. You got a whole 2 hours ahead of you. But let me just bring Tony Atta in, because he says at the next opportunity they're going to try to override the veto on the drug testing bill. Good morning, Senator, or soon-to-be Lieutenant Governor Tony Atta.
Update. Good morning, Primo. How you doing?
I'm
Happy
okay.
Easter to you, Joe, Juana, everyone out there.
Brett, you know, I was thinking about you and Felix the other day. I haven't seen anything from you guys since that get-together over at Ron and Kim's place. When you guys going to start making noise? That then, even over by the Nissan Auto City. Lou's got her signs going up, bro.
Well, you know, this is Holy Week, so after Holy Week, we're going to turn around and when we come out, you're gonna hear us come out, right? So, you know, we're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to a good campaign ahead of us. Nice.
Okay, well, I haven't said anything to anybody just yet, but I'm just kind of waiting to see what you guys do. So after Holy Week and Holy Saturday and Good Friday, and then yeah. Now you said that you know, the next opportunity you guys are going to try to go for the override. You're in session tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, we have that opportunity to place additional items onto the session agenda. We're going to move for an override on Bill 123. You know, it's unfortunate that the governor vetoed it. You know, when you look at what's going on around our island, Ray, Guam is not safe. It's absolutely not safe. And for her to just continuously, you know, either veto bills that are working to improve our island and keep drugs off the street, I just don't get where she's going.
It's kind of, well, I mean, we all kind of rolled our eyes. Nick Delgado asked her that question about how safe is Guam, and she says, oh, it's safer. I think so. And everybody else said, you got to be kidding. You live in any other village besides the one that you're in right now and get rid of your security and, just kind of amble around like everyday people do, and you will find that, no, it is not all that safe in lots and lots of different ways. All right, so a possibility tomorrow that we may see this get overridden, huh?
Yeah, definitely. We're going to do everything we can. If we can't place it on the session agenda tomorrow, then we're going into session the following week. We'll be placing it on the session agenda for our override the following week. But, yeah, you're right. If Guam was safer, why did she come out with her executive order transferring law enforcement officers to GPD and giving $10,000 bonus, right? So absolutely, I think she realizes that Guam is not safe, and that they've been doing a lot of backpedaling.
Yep.
And I continue to see this administration backpedal even further.
Well, I've got I got some guys from the police department coming in next hour. And I'll ask them which one of the old mossbacks they want to bring back. We've been throwing out names like Tomasiak and Bagaforo, but they're still too green. They just retired recently. There's no way in hell those guys are going back. All right, Brad, I got to let you go. I got to bring I got to bring up His Honor Bob Klitsky. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you, bro. Happy Easter to everyone.
Viva, viva. It's 8:46 in the morning. Former senator, former just about everybody in every job and every position on the job is Senator Bob Klitsky. He does a program here at the radio station called Tall Tales. He'll be on at 4. Colin Clark online here this morning asking questions about regulations for political signage here on Guam. And it's been meddled with so many times over the years. I forget what the absolute latest and greatest bottom line here on political signs is. Your Honor, what is your understanding? How big? Where can they get placed? What are the rules and regulations, just off the top of your head?
Well, first of all, political signs are regulated by our zoning law.
Okay.
So, somewhere up in Title 21 of the Guam Code Annotated, Chapter 60-something or other. And what's his name, Morrison, to his credit, repealed the law that allowed signs to be placed on public property, like highway right-of-ways.
Yes.
And legalized the placement of political signs on private property. Until his law, you could have one political sign of dimensions of about 2 by 3 on your property, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So that law was routinely violated. Well, in the 34th, he changed that, repealed the law that allowed signs to be posted on highway rights-of-way, and legalized political signs on private property with a few restrictions, like they have to be 8 feet from the highway,
right,
etc. Other than that, it's kind of the Wild West. You can post a political sign anytime with just about any dimension. So if you had a commercial sign, which is pretty highly regulated, and somewhere in that political sign it said, vote for Tony Atta, you might be able to pull a fast one and get around those other regulations.
Oh, that had not occurred to me. There was once upon a time I wanted to put some very sophisticated, lit up, maybe moving signage on the building. And when I realized just what a pain in the rump it was going to be to go through all the paperwork and the costs and the inspections and everything else, I changed my mind. I just put up some vinyl signs on the building, and that's gonna have to do until, I don't know, certain laws change. But you're saying I ought to be able to get big signs, is listen to Tall Tales at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on this radio station with a little thing over there that says Felix and Tony, and that would be all right.
You would arguably be within the boundaries of the law.
Well, does anybody, you mentioned enforcement and the lack thereof, regardless of the current regime and regardless of what the current laws are, is anybody looking at that? Is there a guy driving around in a pickup truck from DPW or land management saying you can't put that there, that doesn't go there?
It's the director of public works that has the responsibility for doing it. And even when signs were posted on the public right-of-ways, there was no enforcement. In fact, we even had a director of public works who said, "Well, it's really a free speech issue, so I don't think I want to improve. I don't want to enforce it." So there's very little enforcement, even on commercial sides. You know, you're not supposed to be able to have a "Eat at Bob's Hamburger Joint" sign anywhere but on the wall of Bob's Hamburger Joint.
Yeah.
So if Bob's Hamburger Joint is in Tumon, you can't have a "Eat at Bob's Hamburger Joint" sign in Jigo, but people get away with it.
Well, I was going to say there's a sign on one side of Marine Corps Drive, not too far away from Sumai, that tells everybody to keep driving this way, and you'll eventually get to Jeff's Pirates Cove.
And there's a sign on the corner of the ITC building that says Bank of Guam. Now, of course, the Bank of Guam is located inside there, so maybe it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Tom Atta fiddled with that before he left office, and I think screwed it up pretty badly. And I haven't taken the time to go through it.
Well, I mean, because that's a thing. I remember the meddling with it basically looked the other way in a number of businesses that I believe should not have been able to do the signage that they did. I think they took advantage of loopholes and the way things were working or weren't being enforced or paid attention to, although they've argued with me every single time with specifically these electronic signs that we've got and basically grandfathered them into a new regime, which means that and then created rules on how far apart these signs could be so that the guys that are already in the good spots here would see less competition from somebody like me coming in with a sign that I might be able to put up on top of this building here.
That's exactly what happened.
And it annoyed me to pieces. Look, I'm in the advertising game. If I thought I could get away with it, I would have done it. But that's not what the law said. But regardless of what the law said, there was still company XYZ that were doing these electronic signs on Guam.
That's exactly what happened. So those that posted illegal signs gained a position under the law that law-abiding folks could not have achieved.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that position was recognized, as you said, an anti-competitive dimension was added to the law. This all goes back to Tom Atta before he left office.
You can't, what is it? Is it a limit on how many of these things that you can have in any given mile? Because, well, obviously we don't want to ugly the place up with all these electronic signs. Oh, so wait a second. Guys got the good one over at the ITC building, and I got to deal with another secondary intersection if I'm allowed to put one up there. And then there was the guys at Agana Shopping Center that had one that they tried to put together. And even though it was on premise and talking about things that were happening at the center, for some reason, they weren't allowed to get their sign put together and finally energized. I think they must have had it running for a couple of weeks or something, but somebody complained, and that was the end of that for them.
And now we're going to put one down in Inalahan, of all places. The last beautiful village on the island. We're going to put an electronic sign down there, kind of Las Vegas-sized Inalahan.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that they take advantage of some cultural features down there. I don't know, encase it in a big laddie stone, so it's got at least some kind of cultural relevance to the South.
Well, there's historical precedence for electronic signs. I'm sure that when Magellan landed in 1521, there were electronic signs on the beach.
How do you think he found us, Bob?
Yeah, saying, "Welcome, Magellan."
Special on beer at the Inarahan store. You know what I mean?
Eat it, Cocina.
Eat it, Cocina. It's 8:54 in the morning. Interesting conversations that we have been having lately on the subject of abortion. I wrapped attention listening to you on the Alexa yesterday, taking apart the letter from Jane. I wasn't able to listen all the way through. Did you eventually get to the ones that is now in today's Pacific Daily News? Did you get to that one?
No, I didn't. There was so much material, so much raw ore in Jane's letter that it took me almost a whole hour to find it all.
What did you call them? What did you call those little snippets out of her letter?
Jane's Follies.
Jane's Follies. All right, well, I don't know to what degree the follies are, but if you take a look at today's opinion section of the Pacific Daily News, copycat abortion bill is dangerous. This has already appeared in the Guam Daily Post the other day, but PDN finally getting around to it. And I think it's going to be interesting to hear you take this apart, considering it has been signed off on by Attorney Anita Areola, Dr. Ellen Bez, my cousin Annie Berdalio, Mariana Cook-Hune, familiar name, Lisa Dames, Maneka de Oro, Jane Flores is in here, Raging Bisco Lee, Carlotta Leon Guerrero, Stephanie Lorenzo, Michelle Voacola, Vanessa Williams, and Kiana Yabut. Although it doesn't say who contributed what, as much as everybody seems to be undersigned. I think it's going to be interesting, your take on that at 4 this afternoon.
I think we need to make those people famous.
You know,
because you know when you are on that side of that issue, there shouldn't be any place to hide.
I don't disagree, and it will be interesting. Your take on this. Tim Rohr has penned a response to the two letters to the editor in this morning's Guam Daily Post. So I think there's going to be a whole lot of that kind of thing going back and forth. And you know with Tim, it's going to be interesting when he says, "You are welcome to your own opinion, but not your own facts." And he takes apart the argument that, well, it must be an election year. Every election year, the anti-abortion bills rears their ugly head. And he takes great pains in his editorial here to say, no, it doesn't really rear its ugly head every 4 years or 2 years. 8:56 in the morning. Your Honor, it's a pleasure talking with you. I'm glad I had the opportunity, and thanks for clearing the air on what is and what cannot. If you got a political sign, it can be as big and garish and ugly as you want it to be, as long as it is on private property. If it is on public property, then call Vince Areola and somebody will take it down. Or they won't. or they won't. They probably won't. I'll see you soon, Bob.
Okay, Ray.
Hugging a kiss to Auntie Lou. There he is. Bob Klitschy, host of the, what's it called? The
Tall
Tales.
Tales.
Tall Tales.
Yeah.
With the other Joe. I got Real Joe. He's got Jose in the program. I meant to thank him very much for the work that he and the Vigilance Committee has been doing. You will notice now there are a whole lot more announcements about Government of Guam board meetings, when the legislature is going into session, what they're going to be talking about, mayor's council, and even municipal planning council meetings that have to get noticed now. What makes it more, I mean, they'd always needed to get noticed, and they just put up a thing. This is Real Joe and his friends are going to get together, meeting room, this, that, and the other. If you have questions, call here. If you need, accessibility options, then you do this. But now they have to tell you what they're talking about. 8:57 in the morning, and I don't know about you. I'm kind of like all the party and drinking places that we've got now, and restaurants that serve beer and wine and things like that. And that list is going to grow. It will grow. The Alcohol Beverage Control Board has got a regular meeting coming up on the 20th, and what they will be talking about, in addition to a number of things, including permanent additional consumption area at Shamrocks.
Shamrocks.
Love Shamrocks.
Yeah.
I've had a burger at Shamrocks, and there's a girl that works there, and all I'm going to say, fun size.
Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome. Clarissa is her name. Everybody now knows exactly who I'm talking about and exactly where I'm talking about. Follow her on Instagram and Facebook. But there are new license applications. InQuest Pacific Distribution, new. It looks like they are, doing business as InQuest Pacific. I don't know who they are. Salute Guam, S-A-L-U-T Guam, is looking for a new alcoholic beverage license. I'm assuming that these are going to be all on-premise. Pocha K Food and Pub. Does that sound like someplace where you can get some Korean chicken wings?
Oh, it does, Ray.
And some kind of a cold drink, maybe a soju or a Budweiser?
Yes, sir.
Or a Hires?
It sounds like that.
It does sound like that, doesn't it? There is Finn Japanese Restaurant, Pacific Roasters Restaurant and Bar, the new Daybach Lounge, I bet you it's in Harmon, and Edison Coffee. And a couple of these are takeovers, right? So the new Dayback Lounge is a takeover, Edison Coffee is a takeover, and Ishin Japanese restaurant, and On the Rocks is a takeover. I wonder if that's the same mission as over at the hotel, over at the Westin. I don't know, but I'll try to find out. I just think it's great. There's all of these new places that you and I might be able to go and haul one back and just explore the world, maybe solve some problems. There's a recent survey and a recent research that says having a little bit of a beer might help with creative problem solving. All of that is on the way. In the next hour of the program, the top cops are going to be in studio. Stick around, Brown.
PD says it's found a rental van possibly connected to this morning's mass shooting in a busy subway station in Brooklyn. The bomb squad is on the scene.
This location of this U-Haul van is about 5 miles away from where this shooting happened, about a 30-minute drive with traffic from the 36th Street subway station where the mass shooting took place this morning. The NYPD commissioner said the attack is not terrorism related, but they are not ruling anything out.
Fox's Brian Yennis in Brooklyn. Police say the suspect wearing a gas mask and construction vest shot 10 people. 18 others were hurt. The Biden administration is considering sending Ukraine Mi-17 transport helicopters that can also be used in an attack role as part of the new $750 million assistance package. That's what the U.S. and congressional officials are telling Fox News. The chopper has been used by the Afghan Air Force in the past. Officials say it's not clear if the choppers the Pentagon is looking to send are from that stockpile. Secretary of State Antony Blinken again calling the acts of violence against civilians in Ukraine war crimes.
Bodies, hands bound, left on streets. The theaters, train stations, apartment buildings reduced to rubble with civilians inside. We hear it in the testimonies of women and girls who've been raped and the besieged civilians starving and freezing to death.
Blinken says the U.S. cannot confirm the use of chemical weapons in the city of Mariupol, but he says the U.S. had credible information that Russian forces might use a variety of what he called riot control agents. President Biden has also called the atrocities committed in Ukraine war crimes. A Northern California woman is now admitting she faked her own kidnapping more than 5 years ago. The search for Sherry Papini of Redding set off a 3-week manhunt until she resurfaced on Thanksgiving Day 2016. America's listening to Fox News.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Gas prices continue to rise, and we are here to help. We have revised Programan Salapi to provide a $300 direct cash assistance payment to most households. We heard your struggle, and we hope this relief will help during these difficult times. Applications will be accepted starting Tuesday, March 15, 2022. For more information, visit doa.guam.gov.
This ad is paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
On March 4th, Guam Homeland Security sent an advisory warning about Russian cyber attacks and recommended Guam organizations strengthen their cybersecurity postures. You might think your small business isn't at risk, but as businesses use more cloud and web-based tools, they're exposed to cyber attacks designed to snare victims of any size. Keep your organization protected with GTA's multi-threat security bundle. Visit gta.net or call 671-644-1000 for a free consultation today.
The South Dakota House votes to impeach the state's attorney general over a deadly crash in 2020.
The Republican-controlled South Dakota House votes to impeach Republican Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg for his conduct surrounding a 2020 fatal crash. He'll be temporarily removed from office pending a trial in the state Senate. Ravnsborg pleaded no contest last year to traffic misdemeanors in the crash that killed a man who was walking at night along U.S. Highway 14. Investigators say Ravnsborg was on his phone and distracted. He's accused of misleading police, though in a statement ahead of this vote, was also critical of lawmakers, saying that no state has ever impeached an elected official for a traffic accident. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Police in Waterbury, Connecticut say the mother of a Puerto Rican Olympian killed by a stray bullet in her home was an unintended victim of a drug dispute that ended in more than 20 shots being fired. 59-year-old Mabel Martinez was shot in the head Saturday afternoon when at least 2 people opened fire outside on the street. Martinez is the mother of Yaramar Mercado Martinez, an Olympic rifle shooter who competed in the Olympics last year and in 2016. More than half of Americans say the stress level in their lives is at an all-time high.
A staggering 63% of Americans say they are plumb stressed out. That from a new poll conducted by one poll for Fillmore Labs. The survey of 2,000 Americans shows 56% feel alone and have a tough time sharing their problems with friends and family. 57% point to being less social as the top negative impact on their mental health. Just over 2 in 5 respondents say poor sleep quality and an inconsistent sleep schedule are the top side effects they experience when they're feeling stressed.
Fox's CJ Papa, 7 in 10 say their stress levels would subside if they could only sleep better. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate with cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. Brothers Put Branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
It's 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. Portions of which brought to you by APL, American President Lines, global presence with a local home and our friends over at Wendy's. It's Lent for just a little bit longer, and they've got this incredible crispy panko fish fillet, and it's already been in a sandwich, and everybody raves about that. This might be the best fish sandwich I ever had in my life. But you know what it needs? Rice and salad. So they've got it now in a platter. Alaskan fish fillet, fluffy rice and fresh chopped garden salad and more. Panko crusted fish fillet platter waiting for you now at Wendy's.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
After 9 o'clock in the morning, Ray Gibson Show, 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray, and as usual, I'm thrilled to be here with you. Although I'm a little bit disappointed. We had the whole place ready to go for the chief of police to come by and hang out with us. Stephen Ignacio was gonna play at the radio station, but I guess he got a what? Something like a phone call? Did somebody lose the keys to the handcuffs?
No. He actually has a really high tier level meeting that he's going to be a part
Like with
of.
the governor? Like that high? Is
so
it?
we have a lot of stuff moving for the Guam Police Department, as you know, as we.
This is the masked version of Paul Tapau. And I'm like, dude, it's a mask-free zone. He says, yeah, but I'm a government of Guam employee, optics, Raymond Optics. No, I get it. You know what we need is maybe a cup of water or something like that so we can take his mask off, take a drink of water, and then answer the question so I can understand you a little bit better. And then we've got the ultimate crime here. I've got beautiful Sil Javier, who I've known for as long as I've been on the radio. She and I have worked together. In fact, some of the big parties that we were a part of back in the day were the big what is it? Trying to remember the name of the guy, Frank Bokungo, who did all of the songs for your Grand Five. What is the Saluda back in the day? Yeah. Do me a favor, if you're going to keep the mask on, move the microphone up right up to your mouth so I can hear what you're saying. Yeah, even better because you've got a great voice. But anyway, so are you still at DPW?
Yes, I am.
Doing?
We'll work with the Office of Highway Safety.
Office of Highway Safety.
Yes.
How are you going to? Well, first of all, thank you very much for fixing up big chunks of Marine Corps Drive. It's now literally a pleasure to drive. I don't know why it had to wait until election year, but it's a pleasure to drive. And you guys have actually got the contractors working to make it so that it is flat all the way through. So all of those places where you'd have the indentation from the manhole covers, all of those things are a whole lot smoother than they were before.
Yes, and I will certainly extend that message to our director and deputy director.
Vicente?
Yes.
He
Vicente.
knows already. He listens to this. He knows how I feel about that.
Yes.
But I think it's great. So the only thing I think that's waiting now is you got to get and do the milling on the closer to the intersection, right?
I'm not really sure, but we can check with our director and get back to you on that.
Okay.
What our role is in our office, Ray, is we do educational programs.
Okay.
Educational programs that we promote, don't drink and drive,
Important.
click it or ticket, speed, distracted driving, which is the campaign this month.
It's okay. So this is the one that you should have just put my name on it. the Ray Gibson distracted driving, and we'll talk about that in a second. Officer Paul Tapau also in the studio from the Guam Police Department. We're hoping to get a few other guys in here, and that's all right. If you need to come back or call in down the road, that'll be fine. I wanted to do my part, as we back the blue, as it were, in this town, because there's a lot of crazy things that happen. There was I might be able to find the picture. That somebody put on one of the group chats the other day about a horrific accident that took place up at the top of the hill by the coming up from the Weston. And there was a massive accident there. It looked like an SUV had flipped over, and then as a result of the impact of the crash, it looks like it took itself apart. I mean, there were axles over here, and there were cracked wheels over there, and I don't know what happened to anybody on the inside. It looked like it was maybe one of those accidents. Hopefully, they were able to walk away from. But oh my God, a lot of people, and at the end of the investigation, what are we going to find? Was somebody putting on their makeup? Was somebody eating? Was somebody on the phone? Was somebody fiddling with the radio or tying their shoe or what? You're the guy that's done the investigations. What are the majority reasons for things like that?
So it's funny how you bring that up, right? At first, he used the word accidents, and we just want to be clear. When the Guam Police Department, we don't investigate accidents. We investigate traffic crashes. Accidents are really defined as uncontrolled circumstances of events.
Right.
When you drive a vehicle, you have full control. And one of the three major factors that we look into as investigators are the causation of a crash is really attributed to driving while impaired, speed, or inattentive driving, which pretty much defines distracted driving. And what you saw, based on the carnage and the dynamics of the crash, we can attribute one or two things. The operator lost control, was distracted for a apparent reason, but speed played a definite factor with that crash. So, moving forward with the investigation, our public information officer didn't have anything to report in regards to any lives or any fatalities from that crash.
Good news.
But, it's really, I guess you sit you're actually playing with a two-sided sword with this, because I want to say Joe Cruz, Mana, you guys are phenomenal on the road. Joe is a mountain biker. He goes a lot, spends a lot of time. Imagine you yourself as a runner, and you actually come across individuals who are heads down or texting while operating
constantly.
a vehicle.
Constantly.
You see it, right?
And not at the intersection. On the road, their driving is 35, 40 mile an hour highway speed, and they're doing this. On screen right now is a picture of that accident at the intersection. Yep. And if you've seen it, you've seen it. There might even be some video floating around of the aftermath of this and people moving around, but I don't have any video of the actual crash itself. I wanted to say accident again, but the actual crash itself. And as you see, there's just hardware all over the place. So somebody was going fast and they hit hard.
Absolutely. That's indicative of speed right there. And of course, trying to gain control, you actually, they would be, if we do the investigation and we come back to the, oh my God, I'm going to crash factor, you're going to see either an evasive action being done or some sort of maneuver for the operator. But
at speed, that just makes it worse, doesn't it?
It does. And like I said, these are the three major factors that we as crash investigators look into is speed, impaired driving, and of course, distracted driving. And, this is a great opportunity that, working with Office of Highway Safety and promoting this, because we're opening up. The island is opening up. We have 5Ks that are lined up.
Yep. Yeah, in fact, you've got a 5K lined up.
Absolutely. Hot pursuit. That's celebrating Police Week. And, we're going to be on the roads. And one of the things that we stress to the motorists is really put the phones down and pay attention to what's happening, because our officers are out there. It's not just the Guam Police Department. We're working alongside with the Guam Airport Authority, and of course Port Police. So everybody's playing a vital part in really educating the community about distracted driving. And You know, I was just talking to Sil and her team about partnering with the local high schools, and we're blessed because we have 2 events that are coming up, and one of the things that we're going to be providing for an educational platform for the students is impaired driving prevention through education, and of course, the effects of distracted driving. Because realistically, the human brain responds to a threat, perceives a threat. It takes about 1.25 seconds just for you to realize there's a threat. And reacting out of that, it's going to take time. So by the time you realize a threat, if your head is down, you're looking at your phone, and there's a threat that you pick your head up, you've already closed it the length of 3 football fields before you take a defensive maneuver.
That's one of the stats that stays in my head is the amount of ground that you are covering while you're thinking. I'm just taking an instantaneous look to see if who hit me up on the WhatsApp. Is it her? Is that the message that I've been waiting for? And then you look at it, and then you lift your head up, and sure enough, there's a very good chance that you're going to dog in the car in front of you, or maybe you've drifted outside of your lane. So no doubt, I get the whole thing. I just don't know that I could ever stop doing it. That's the problem. So Sil's looking like, what? What do you mean? So I have to make now, and it's like getting into the car. I'm not a big seatbelt guy, so I have to make a conscious decision. She's doing it again. She's making that face, but I got to make a conscious decision to put my seatbelt. The best car I ever drove was a Mazda 626. Some of you will remember that.
Yeah.
Mazda 626, and the year that I drove that car was the year that one of the features was when you get into the car, it automatically puts a seatbelt on for you. So I felt good. I'll never ever get pulled over for not having my seatbelt on. New cars, not so much. And I've gotten used to that little ding 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 noise that the car makes when you don't have the seatbelt on. Yeah. So I've figured out you just turn the radio up a little bit louder for a second, and it'll eventually go away. So you got kind of that going on. But when it comes to the phone, I have to make a conscious decision when I get in the car to leave the phone in my pocket.
That's a good decision. That's a good practice.
Okay, so but here's the second part of this problem is now the phone can talk to my watch. Back in the olden days, a couple of years ago, that was a handy feature, but everybody has one of those Apple watches, and they're all Bluetooth connected to their phone, or an Android watch that's connected to their phone. So I will get a notification on my watch that I've got a message. Now, it doesn't mean dig out the phone, but it does mean I've got to look at my watch for a second to see what that message was.
Yeah, you're absolutely
correct. New problem?
Humans we're creatures of habit, right? And when you develop a habit in how you get into a car or what is going to be done, the fortunate thing with my family, and I'm going to use my family as an example, is that I have kids. So I have to make sure and check and recheck. My son is in his car seat. The kids are buckled up and everything, and I stay within, I have precious cargo. So I take that into consideration. And that became my habit, and that's going to be my habit going forward. Being a creature of habit, by you putting that in your pocket, you are taking that one step in really not being distracted. But
doing my best. Well, the other part is, and you're talking about, and this is important now from the father's point of view, is you're in the car, you got the kids in the car.
Yep.
Put the phone away, not because you don't want to worry about distracted driving. You want to spend some quality time with the kids in the car. For some parents, that might be the best time they have with the kids. We're listening to the radio and we're talking to each other and having a good time.
And that's a good example because you are the teacher there to these kids who'll be growing up and see, the dad never uses the phone.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're just trying to turn the interaction on the phone down when we're together in the car, and more often than not, Mayumi is my driver these days. So
there you have a teen driver. So can you imagine the anxiety, right, and the excitement? And it's
now I'm the textatary. You know what that is? A textatary. So when her phone goes off, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's my friend. Can you do me a favor?" And text a response to her. So she's not on the phone. I'm on the phone. And she was my textatary before.
Yes, and that's one of the tips we promote, that designate a texter so that they'll be the ones to answer your phone should it ring while you're driving, as long as you don't take your focus out on the road.
Well, people are going to be all for that, and just a reminder: the conversation here is about distracted driving. There may be a couple of other things that come up from the Facebook Live viewers and the YouTube Live viewers that have got some questions. Jose Martinez, as an example, I am looking forward to the scissor merge campaign. Oftentimes, we have construction that takes place on Guam's roads, and I don't know why you can put a million signs up, but it will always be at the last minute somebody trying to stay in that lane as long as possible before they fight for the merge with somebody. And I know that's a hard spot for fender benders and things like that. Slow speed crashes that you might get into. And I think we need to put together a campaign because it's more efficient and it's safer if everybody just merged. It doesn't matter. This is not a contest. It ain't a race, to see who can get in front of who. You get there, and it doesn't matter whether the guy got in, because everybody says, well, there's construction. You should just stop in the back end and get into that lane as quick as you at the earliest opportunity. But it's actually more efficient when you do a scissor merge, where you've got a car that goes and then you go, and then one behind you goes and the one next to that one goes. So we're scissor merging in place. Can there be, especially because we've got a lot of construction that's going to continue on Marine Corps Drive and San Antonio soon, we need to have a campaign beginning like that to let people know it ain't a race. Just because the guy didn't get in at the back doesn't make him a bad guy.
Well,
that's a good suggestion, and
Jose Martinez's idea.
We can bring it up with Vince and Linda about this,
yeah.
And look into future campaigns about, with future road constructions.
What's the appropriate way to do that? And the appropriate way to do it is stay in your lane. If your lane is longer, well, that's too bad. That's where the traffic is going. But if the guy's coming in on the right side or the left side, let them in. It doesn't do anybody any good. And I think most people are doing that now out of courtesy. But I'm aware of people that will fight you like jujitsu for that merge. I'll look at you in the face and keep going. You're not getting in now.
You said it, courtesy.
Yep.
The companies in itself, when they bid for the contract for DPW for the road services, they put it, the Insta Alert is out there. It's going to remind you. And I think once we come to an understanding that there's construction here, we as operators of vehicles, we are going to do everything the most convenient time to really avoid the heavy congested area. This is the first thing that you want to do, but unfortunately, some of the businesses and everything that we do need to patron, we have to take the route. But it really is. You said it. We need to be courteous out there. We need to be patient. We will get there, and that's one of the things that we're starting to see, aside from distracted driving, impaired driving, is rage. We're starting to see that high speed, people cutting off. One thing leads to another. I guess it's really attributed to who we are now as human beings, is that people just don't care anymore. And this is why these campaigns, such as distracted driving, are efforts in enforcement. It's not just to enforce to give a citation, but we're enforcing to educate the community about speed reduction, about distracted driving, and of course, more important, impaired driving, because all these three elements is really geared towards preventing crash.
And eventually better for the community.
Yeah, and preventing
keep everybody
fatalities
alive as much as possible. You start talking about enforcement, and there's any number of places where we can see some of that enforcement. Everybody's got a criticism one way or the other about it, but I don't wear a gun and a badge, so I'm pretty gentle about it. But I sure would like to see a whole lot more people getting pulled over at the intersections for running reds. This is after, of course, DPW goes out and recalibrates many of these intersections and I'll give you a perfect example of it right now. You guys work at Tiedzen, for heaven's sakes. You know that intersection in front of the Chinese restaurant, and if you were headed north in that intersection, waiting to get onto Tiedzen, the light will turn green. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then it goes yellow, red. And so there's a lot of people that are on Route 8 that will take a chance on that long, hoping for a long red so they can cut across. So we've got to go and recalibrate that so that it lets more cars onto Tiedzen, especially considering there's only one way onto Tiedzen. Otherwise, what's going to happen is, and what I've been doing is I'll move up a little bit, hang a Louis by the fire station, and come back down. And that's not safe for anybody.
No, it's not, because you do have emergency vehicles that use this in ingress and egress, but just to
fix the light, right?
Yeah, it's based on time. It is.
It sucks 24 hours a day. I run in the morning, I run in the afternoon. It sucks 24 hours a day.
The congestion really happens when the schools let out at the same time. So you have 3 schools in there, right? You have Tiedzen High, you have GAX, you have CFA. But also you have Antolon Middle School that releases their kids at 3:30. Yep. Try traversing there by 3:30, 4 o'clock. You're going to get caught in traffic. By 5 o'clock, you are definitely going to get caught in traffic. So really, traffic engineering and
Give me the remote control. Still, drop the remote control over here.
You need the key. You need the key for the control box.
I'll fix it, and then I want a guy in a squad car, or a squad car with a dummy with a police uniform on it, with a pair of dark sunglasses.
Mannequin. Can we use the word mannequin? That's more. We got to be. We don't want to irritate the woke.
So glad you knew what I meant. But I want to put a mannequin in there in one of the squad cars. They did that back in the old days. I'm trying to remember who was
that was done before. It was a deterrence used for the drivers, and it was part of educating the driver behaviors out there.
But it affected driving behavior.
Yes,
because if people think there's a cop there, they'll slow down and they'll stop on the red. All of that stuff. I'm trying to remember the name. Ed Cabina, I think, was the police chief when they did that.
Down
back
in Tumon. Down in Tumon. That was we used
I'm gonna
to
bring that guy back. Let's go find him.
You talk about these great tools and gadgets, right? Office of Highway Safety works with our Guam Highway Patrol Division, and if you haven't seen it out on the roads, they have actually deployed the Insta Alert, the speed detector, so you actually get to see your speed in which you're traveling.
Yes, it comes out when they do their enforcement activities. They put it out, the speed display.
And then we put it when the schools are in session. So you adhere to the posted speed limit. And it really is. We'll give the community time to really see what's happening. Hopefully, there's an awareness level that why is this out here? And this is where we come in with our enforcement aspect to educate more of the community that look, the posted speed limit is 15 when school's in session, and you're traveling 35. This is why we put the Insta Alert out there so that you can actually be able to.
I've never seen that. Joe, have you seen one of those things yet?
No.
Where it tells you where your speed is?
No.
Yeah, so we have that, and we also have an instrument, our newest laser instrument.
Yes.
When we actually do laser operations, right, for speed detection, we're able to video and we're able to take a picture. So now in courtroom testimony. It's not only the pinpoint accuracy; it's also the photo that we're going to be presenting to the court.
Car, and that's not your wife. Yeah. Now we understand why you're speeding. Okay,
you're wearing seatbelt, right?
And of course, with the distracted driving, right? Our officers, they are paying attention to those. Peter Santos was on air. I heard him. He goes, even when you're at a stop, and you pick up your cell phone, that is still distracted driving.
Okay, so Peter Santos incidentally made a crack about me on the Facebook Live. He says, he says, now I got to go to Reverend Tax not to change my driver's license because I changed my address. He said something about changing my gender.
Oh, wow.
That, Peter.
You can play rugby.
I know. I'm gonna play rugby now. 9:26 in the morning. When we start talking about these, I'm glad that you have these tools, but some of the basics are required as well. And that means that here comes the scolding. We need to do something with more lane markers, especially at night. And I'll tell you where one of them is right now because I'm on it every single day. You know that the intersection over by the airport. You're coming down. You got to stop and wait for cross traffic on Route 10 Alpha to go. But the problem is that the lane markers, you can't see them anymore. The old bots dots, they're all submerged in their dark. You cannot see them at all in the rain. And there's not a whole lot of light down there. And in fact, there's a whole lot of roads where there aren't a whole lot of lights anyway. So as a part of road safety, traffic safety, those are some of the considerations. Are you guys working on with the mayors and with the power company to get more lights strung up?
I believe that's in the work plan with DPW to make sure that every road is assessed and where those markers, what needs to be upgraded out there. So that's in the plan and in the works with DPW.
Okay.
So just to reiterate what Sil had mentioned, right? So in working and collaborating with the Office of Highway Safety, our officers, both in the Guam Highway Patrol Division and, of course, our patrol officers, every accident is accounted for. And that is used as a gauge to determine where we can effectively address the issues of the road. Illumination, auto pedestrian crashes happen here. What is the 5 E's that we need to look at, right? Do we have to look at engineering as one of the aspects in preventing crashes from happening? Speed, high rate of speed, what do we need to look into in curving and, of course, reducing speed? So these are effective ways in which we work closely by identifying these trouble spots. We are seeing lane markers being done. I stay in Route 4.
Route 4
It's beautiful.
got some
It's
nice ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Starting
I kind of feel
McDonald's all the way up.
feel like I'm in Europe, just driving in there because it's nice because you get to see the mountain and you get to see the ocean. But these are things in which they've identified as hazards on the roadway. So working closely with the administration and making this assessment, it's going to happen. The bots dots. Not too many people know what. Not too many people use that. We use that as investigators when we do our scene check. And
driving by Braille, for those of you that aren't familiar with the technology, it's those raised
or the
reflective.
Pac-Man, or the hey, wake up, you're drifting off right after 3 o'clock in the morning. Because what, Joe?
Nothing good happens after 10.
Right? So it's like you base it on that, and that used to be a college thing. It's like let's just play Pac-Man and tuck.
Yep. Oh my God.
Here we go. But that's just things that it was.
That is, incidentally, for those of you that aren't women, that is one of the ways. If you're running or jogging anywhere, if you're a woman and you, if you're wondering that the guy in the car was looking at you for a long time, that's how you can tell they're still looking at you. When you hear the that means that he's distracted by your dog and going up and down the roadway. Some interesting. Harvey Egna, soon to be Senator Harvey Egna, writes, "Why don't we have cameras at the intersections that will send tickets to red light runners?" That's old technology. That's been around for a while.
One of the things too that brought up too is the inclement weathers that we get, the typhoons, right? So I think we've had that a few years ago. It was monitored and everything. It was actually used
at Highway.
Yeah, it was actually used to help with the responding units, the emergency units, so that it was able to control that. Unfortunately, the storms have actually
wiped those things out. That used to be a way, and I recall there was a traffic headquarters that was set up where guys could, the guys that were there were trained and could manually adjust the lights so that when you had a busy time or an unexpected busy time, somebody could look at it and say, okay, we got more traffic coming in over here, or an accident caused this, so we open things up a little bit more with the other intersections so that we can bleed off the traffic on the roads. And you're right, it was Chatan or Pung Sanghua or something that knocked those things off, and they were just never replaced. But that was then. This is now. An argument could be made. We got some sweet federal money that's coming in, and I know that there's a ton of federal money for the reconstruction of a couple of major parts of our roadways here in the coming months. It's going to be. It's going to be. It will be fun to watch for me because I'm never in heavy traffic. I don't have a drive time when I wake up and come to work. So it's like that. Any other thoughts here on traffic safety and distracted driving? What else do we need to worry about as the campaign goes?
We just want to promote, aside from April being National Distracted Driving Month.
I had no idea there was a whole month for it.
Yes, and just to advise the drivers out there to put their phones down. Because any signs of distraction, like you mentioned earlier, whether they're fixing their face, combing their hair, the minute you take your eyes off that wheel, that's already distracted.
Okay, you're getting scolded by the Facebook livers here. Poor excuse. Every state has bad weather. Florida has hurricanes, and they have intersection cameras. Don Emila says, come on, we haven't had a typhoon in over 14 years, so you're going to have to come up with something better than that.
We'll work on that. We'll address that. But, just to talk more about the campaign and stuff, thank you for that. I mean, that is something in which has always been in the books.
Hey, they help me keep it real around here.
GFD, our 911 dispatchers, we had utilized that when they have to respond code. So that's something that we introduce. But I just want to add, distracted driving. We as motorists, we as commuters, we need to learn how to share the road. We are seeing an uptick because of the COVID lockdowns. If you look 2 years ago, people were out and about. People were riding bikes. Hornet, you couldn't even buy a bike at Hornet. So they were using it, and people are running. We're starting to see more of our local Gomanians exercising. So we need to have that consideration in learning how to share the roads. People, it's just a matter of courtesy.
I don't know, those cyclists, man, they think they own it.
Yeah, they do, especially when they drive at night with the halogen lights. Oh, my God.
No, but
the high LED lights, it's like, what is this?
Well, there's a couple of guys that are running around with blue lights. So it looks like it gets your attention because it's the same color blue as you've got on the top of your squad cars. And I think that's a great idea. I think every biker on Guam should have the same color as the police lights. And I think every runner should have exactly the same thing. So if you're running running in the dark. There's a whole lot of that. On top of everything else, you talk about sharing the road. I think about these pedestrians, and 99% of the times, you're a cop, you're on the road, you see it. 99% of the time, it's a dark road on a dark night, and the guy's wearing dark clothes, and then they wonder how come they get squashed by the car all the time, because you can't be seen. Just because you're on the side of the road and not on the road doesn't make you any safer, because we've got distracted drivers. Somebody's chewing on a chorizo or messing around with the phone, or playing around with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something like that. There's 1,001 reasons why people are taking their eyes off the road and their hands off the wheel. And we being a crash investigators, we don't want to see monuments being posted up on the side of the road in memory and honor of certain individuals. Like I said, accidents are uncontrolled circumstances of events. We can control crashes. We have the power to really just slow our roll when we operate our vehicle, put our phones down. Let's all get to our destination, safely, and assure that we're doing our part. And hopefully, with the campaign, with the enforcement, with the education through citation, we're able to really change. Through citation.
We can change the habits of our operators or our drivers.
Sounds like justice under God at Father Duenas, right? Everybody knows what jug is. All right, a couple of guys have asked these questions twice, so I want to make sure I could have an opportunity to recite them back to you while you're here. Jose Tepahago, please ask, what are the numbers of police officers on active guard duty because of the emergency declaration? You go by Teedson, and arguably there's a bunch of guys that are wearing guard uniforms. And maybe are going to see a handful of people today. It's about time that they get out of that duty and then maybe back into wearing a uniform like yours. Do you have any numbers on guys that might be unavailable to the police department because they're in uniform?
Yeah, we don't have the numbers. So we do track those that are under reserve status that also wear the other boots to serve the military. We do,
Is it a big number? Is it a significant percentage?
We have a significant amount of numbers of officers that are, with the armed services outside of the Guam Police Department. But we've actually addressed that issue in the event, where it's an emergency, that the first responders, the critical agencies, we are last to be pulled, such as teachers, such as firefighters, such as nurses, right? So we make it to where it's going to be harder to pull these guys out. We're going to, we ask that the Guard, the Reserve we have no control of, right? But the National Guards, the Air Guard and the Guam Guard, there's an understanding that in the event where they need to activate the first responders, police officers, firefighters, teachers, critical positions.
I see. So, if you really needed these guys back in a squad car, they could come back.
Yeah, they can come back and stuff. So, this is how we collaborate and work together in addressing these issues.
All right, just between us boys here, do you think now might be a good time? This community literally is reeling, notwithstanding any statements from the governor. People see it in their WhatsApp chat groups and everything. Crime is going up. People have no more fear of the cops. In fact, I was telling the listeners the other day that the magistrate reports that came out on Monday, 2 of them had guys that were picking fights with the cops. They were an altercation of one kind or another. Here comes the cop, and these guys take the, quote, bladed stance and try to throw down with a police officer. Dumbest move ever, but indicative of the lack of fear, I think, that some of these thugs have for members of the police force.
We're working at addressing that issue. We are in the process of sending our multi-agency academy. They're going to be sworn in as for OJT. They're going to be going out. They're going to be graduating in June. We are looking at opening a cycle. I think we're looking at 30 new POTs that we'll be starting in June. We are working, with the administration and getting the retirees back. We're working in aligning.
Which ones don't you want back?
We want Bagaforo. John Bagaforo.
You want Baggy back.
We want Baggy back.
Tomasiak,
Sergeant Baggy.
Tom Tomasiak, the loudest guy in any police department, in any precinct that you were at. The loudest guy is going to be Tommy. No, Tommy said no, not only no, but hell no. But I think it'd take more than $10,000.
But we see it. You're part of the Neighborhood Watch.
Yes.
You're part of Mong Mong, right? So we work closely with the Neighborhood Watch programs. We work closely with our other government agencies, such as Office of Highway Safety, in various ways and capacity. But really, it's the community effort. We know what's going on. We know the problems. We know the vices that our community members are a part of. And this is where we work in collaborating with our nonprofit organization. We are working. Our office at ASD, we are working through prevention, through education. We're working with the schools. We're going to be working with, just a slew of people come next school year. We're bringing Office of Highway Safety on board when we do our high school presentations, our high school events, because of the fact that these are our young teen drivers, are really inexperienced drivers that are anxious to be out there, but we want to help provide this education platform. And in time,
back in the olden days, here's another thing that the old guard cops used to do. Is what happens to a car? And unfortunately, I don't know if we can do that anymore because the second millennials will steal whatever salvageable parts there are on the car in about 12 hours. Somebody on this on the line talking about, what another big distraction for drivers is, and the cops need to do something about it. Yesterday, panhandlers. We've got to get rid of the panhandlers. That becomes a safety issue. It's a distraction, number one, and number two, it is a safety issue for them. There are laws that say you can't play in traffic for any reason.
Right.
Yeah, that is law. So you are correct. We work closely with the mayor, and we ask them courteously and kindly to vacate themselves from that area. They comply,
and then as soon as you're gone,
as soon as we're gone, they come back and everything.
On.
Yeah. But there's a lot of nonprofit partners that really can assist with these issues. This is nothing new to our island. We as a community
arrest them.
Together.
Somebody needs to get arrested, Paulie. Arrest them.
Really, people have been arrested, but they when you take somebody off of that, another person comes in and everything. So we need to address this.
We can arrest as many people as we want to.
We need to work together and find a proper solution in how do we address this, right? And it's not going to just be the Guam Police. It's going to take the full holistic approach from the community.
I
really believe
hear you and respectfully disagree. These people know the limits of what they can and can't get away with, and they know that the guy over at the mayor's office is going to bark at them. Eventually, the police are going to come, and you're right, you're going to move them off. But as soon as that officer leaves, these guys or somebody else is going to come right back in and take it. I think it's the citations ain't going to work for these guys, and if incarceration doesn't work, then we need to maybe incarcerate them a little bit longer.
That's something
and break that habit. And as soon as people find out that, hey, these guys are serious, so-and-so isn't there today because they put him in jail.
Yeah, in the interest of safety, that's something that may be taken into consideration, and these are solution findings that we do.
Because otherwise, I'm going to start bumming for money. That way, why should I spend my own money for my beer?
Amend
my
the
Slim
current
Jims?
law to make it a stiffer fine, so that way they'll stay away.
No, they're just going to say I can't pay. I mean, we don't have a debtor's person around here. But there are a lot of distractions, lights among them and the traffic signals and all of that. I'm glad that you're aware of them now, and especially some of the concerns from our listeners. And I hope that there can be a plan moving forward
absolutely
on how to get it done.
And I want to thank your listeners because these are some of the great ideas. I'm still wrapping my head around the scissor merger.
Scissor merger, bro.
Traffic engineering. I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. That really is, because when we do our DWI traffic enforcement, where we have to set up shop, right? Everybody just merges, and you can see the line. It's like, all right, we don't need to advertise that we're setting up a DWI checkpoint here because they see the line. Yeah. So, how do we expedite the movement of traffic? And these are some of the things that, as traffic engineers, we need to visit. But
I think some of those DUI checkpoints, that's a distraction as well. You should end that.
But we do advise the media that there is going to be a DWI checkpoint in accordance to the law.
This is his advisory. We're going to have checkpoints on Marine Corps Drive.
Yep.
Where? On Marine Corps Drive is the answer to that question. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it's going to be, but it's going to be out there and around 9:42 in the morning. Guys, I appreciate you coming by.
I had a great time. Thank you so much.
It's always tough when cops get in the studio because there's everybody else is going, and what about? There are obviously a couple of things that I would like to talk about of a cop nature. Unfortunately, my assumption is that everything having to do with the last two officer-involved shootings is completely and totally under wrap, including, oddly, the name of the victim. At which point in the victim on Route 16, the shooter, as far as I know, we haven't revealed the name of that guy.
I have no idea.
They didn't tell you.
I'm not with I'm no longer the public information officer.
No, I know. Just thought maybe just leak it to me.
I just read what's in the newspaper. I just read what's in the newspaper. Hear what I see on TV and the telly and stuff. So, I can't expound any information that I don't have. So.
All right. But when you find out, let me know.
Yep.
Just Faison.
So April is distracted driver. We do your part, put your phone down, pick your head up, pay attention. Let's all do our part.
Is this Cruz on the line? Okay. All right. Mark Cruz on the line wants to talk about cameras at night. You've got the headphones so would you go ahead and if I have to, I'll repeat the question. Go ahead, Mark. You're on.
No, so they did pass. The legislature did pass a red light law a while back.
Red light law. Okay.
Yeah, that allowed red light cameras or traffic light cameras for people who pass red lights. But what happened was it was passed over to DPW to write the rules and regs, and instead of copying the majority of the municipalities in the state, they had it to where the contractor would come in, set up his thing, make all his investment back in the first year, and then just pay him a minimum fee to keep everything going. Whereas in the municipalities in the state, it's a split. It's a public-private partnership where I think Sacramento is 65% goes to the contractor on the ticket.
Yeah.
And 35% goes to the county. So yeah, I mean, I had the whole thing set up. I had the test equipment ready to go, and then they came up with that thing, and I was like, sorry.
Yeah, forget it. No, you want something that's going to be, well, I mean, it becomes a business. I don't know to what degree you'd want to exploit a profit, but the idea that somebody is out there that, public-private partnership, I will give you this and you will be able to do the enforcement that you need to do. I will be able to make enough money to maintain this equipment, upgrade the equipment as needed, and hire and train the people that will help with the maintenance and upgrades as we need to do that. So I can see where something that goes on a little bit longer than just this year or the next couple of years makes a whole lot of sense. Appreciate that thought. So maybe it's just a question of looking at that once again and maybe getting the guys. Who do you remember at the legislature who it was that authored the legislation?
No, the law is still in effect. I don't remember who it was, but the law is still in effect. It's
That'd be Tommy.
a matter of DPW changing the rules and regs.
Well, yeah. So if the person is still over at the legislature, or maybe somebody at the legislature could bring it back in some kind of a round table so that we can put together a deal that makes more sense. Because it seems to me that the cops would love to have something like that, a red light camera system.
Well, there were some that were, when this first came out, actually testified against it, that said you're going to be causing accidents because people are actually going to be stopping for red lights. And everybody's so used to going through it, they're going to be rear-ending everybody else.
Yeah. Well, it's
like,
yeah. What do they call that? Somebody's law here. Trust me, we'll figure it out as time goes by. 9:46. Interesting conversation. And one last thing on the topic of safety for everybody. Can we get into the habit of doing construction on the roads at night? Can we do more of that kind of thing? You've been stuck in traffic on a Saturday or Sunday, right? In the last couple of weeks.
Yes. So you got. There's always an assessment as that goes in, right? When is that peak traffic? When is the peak travel on the road? That's why you see the paving and everything being done on the weekend from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Those little minor stuffs that need to be done before they run the hot coals on top of that needs to be addressed. Unfortunately, there's phases as they move in. They try to work. If you ever see them moving their cones and they shift operation, that really is to not bug down or tie down the traffic flow. So they do make the assessment.
They don't work that good on a couple of Saturdays and Sundays.
It's an inconvenience. We understand that.
40 minutes to get 40 minutes.
You didn't read the instant alert?
I saw the thing. I saw the thing.
You took a chance, right? You took a chance.
Well, because we've got the changing altitudes of Marine Corps Drive, and it looks good when I'm in front of a looping, but when I get closer to the ITC intersection, once I get up over that hump, then I can see, holy smokes, look at all that traffic up ahead of me. And like I said, it's 40 minutes between there then and then the 76 over at EPAL Road. 9:47 in the morning. Good, I get to get stuff off my chest too. Hey, Sil, thanks for coming by.
Yes, thank you
so
for
this
having
is
us.
Distracted Driving Month. When is the next big holiday when do I get you guys back?
I just want to remind you that next month is our Click It or Ticket campaign.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me.
And that opens up the summer months, right?
Yes,
into Memorial Day, and then we move into our DWI operation.
For July.
Okay, well, so we'll have you guys come back and
thank you so much again, Ray.
Then my listeners can have me pick on you all morning.
It's been fun, man. Thank
pleasure.
you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Not a problem. Richard Leon has been all over you guys. It says inconvenient traffic jams considering the high gas cost. Absolutely. So whatever those standards are, where they determine this has to be done during the day or this can be done at night, we've got to review those standards because gasoline is $5 and what, 70 cents today, Real Joe? Is that where the new number's $5.69? It's still whatever it is. It's not $3 anymore. So it's we got to factor all of that in there as well. 9:48 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Quick break. I'll be right back.
Hey, what did the grilled cheese sandwich say to their date?
What'd they say?
You make me melt.
Oh, so cheesy. But not as cheesy as Subway's latest Eat Fresh Refresh menu innovation. The new Fresh Melts with 3 times the cheese. Fresh Melts are the cheese lovers' holy grail. Fresh Melts combine freshly baked breads and your favorite meats topped with a triple load of cheese. All grilled to warm, toasty perfection. Try the ham and cheese melt, tuna melt, or steak and cheese melt to start. Best of all, you can make any footlong into a fresh melt. At Subway, eat fresh.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
We're already Pika's best radio station, but we're always looking for ways to be even better. Announcing the point on Alexa. In addition to our FM and HD radio feeds, our incredible app, informative website, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, you can now tell Alexa to stream The Point. And your smart speaker will start playing whatever we're saying. News and views 24/7 with your 4-word command. Alexa, stream The Point.
Day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apo.com.
Okay, so this is what's funny. So I ask Paul a question and I get an answer, and it sounds like the standard answer, and people are going, "Hey, he just gave you the standard." Yeah, it used to be the PIO. What? Yeah. It's like asking Jen Psaki if Biden is insane, or if he's got dementia or something like that. Oh no. Why isn't Kamala Harris wearing a mask in all of these things? Oh, she's human. She's human.
That's
or
personal
it was a very momentous occasion. It was a historic occasion. She was overwhelmed with emotion and could not wear the mask. And then Nancy Pelosi kissing Biden. All the things that they tell us, they warn us not to do, they do it themselves. They had a go from giving Paul Tapau a hard time into this. They had one of these gridiron shows in Washington D.C. Like a roast. We used to have a really good one here back when there were real journalists, and we used to have the Guam Gridiron Show, and they would put together a night of just taking everybody apart. The people would have gotten, if it was done today, the people would just get slapped all over the place. Some of the old hardcore politicians will remember when the Mariana's journalism community would get together and they put up a show and just ripping these guys apart. We all work together. It's all in
fun and charity.
It's fun, charity, that kind of thing. But anyway, so they had this gridiron show in Washington, and apparently something like 10% of the people that attended that came down with COVID. Yeah.
Wow.
But it speaks to, I believe, a desire, everybody's desire, to get out from under COVID-19, to finally say, we can live with this. We have been living with this. We don't need the restrictions anymore. We don't need the masks. We don't need the little stickers every 6 feet. We don't need to be to walk around. I mean, before COVID, I don't know that I'd ever actually gone through a bottle of this stuff.
Oh, no.
And we've had this one here in the studio since the beginning of COVID.
Hard to finish.
But yeah, I mean, even those little tubes. My daughter's my daughter famous. She's always got hand sanitizer on her, and I will put hand sanitizer on just to placate her.
Yeah, right before you eat,
right before I eat a snack or something like that.
Good man.
So we got kind of that. But people can figure it out. I know that if I don't put hand sanitizer on my hands or wash my hands before I eat, I have the possibility of getting sick. There might be some dysentery or whatever. I might pick up a bug somewhere. But that's the same thing as I had before. And I had COVID, and frankly, it wasn't all that bad. I don't know if I want it again anytime soon, but I survived it. Everybody around me survived it. So what is the big deal about this stuff anymore? And we say, well, we got all these old people we got to worry about. Well, then make them wear a mask. Keep them 6 feet apart from everybody else. If you know that you've got one of these comorbidities or your potential victim, like Ron McNinch will say from time to time, I know I've got this, so I take these precautions. Good. But because you have it doesn't mean that I have to take this precaution and be left with it. So there's a pent-up demand, I think, from a lot of people to get back to that kind of normalcy. And even in Washington, D.C., where they probably shouldn't have, well, they did. And now some of them are paying the price for it. I haven't heard that anybody's died. That's the thing. That's the thing. And you know what I also haven't heard from is how many people that are unvaccinated like us. There's not that many of us, I think.
What is it called again? True Bloods?
True Bloods. Pure Bloods.
Pure Bloods.
There aren't that many of us, I don't think. But for the most part, I'm not hearing about many True Bloods, Pure Bloods, getting sick. I mean, they get COVID and then they recover. But how many other people are, I'm not vaccinated. I got COVID and it was a lousy weekend, but I survived it and I'm here to tell you about it. So I'm wondering if anybody's keeping track of that kind of thing, of all the people that are being admitted to the hospital, of all the people that have died. How many of them were unvaccinated after the vax was available? Obviously, we were all unvaccinated before the vax was available. Anyway, 9:55 in the morning. A bunch of stuff in the table of contents that, as usual, I didn't get to. Paul Tapau did mention a 5K coming up for the police department. The GPD Employee Association is hosting the 5K, 2K run walk May the 7th. Showtime is at 5 o'clock in the morning. Should have everything closed up by 8, and as usual, go time is going to be 6. Chamorro Village to Adelup and back the usual road. And I love this because they're requesting lane closures of the police department and DPW. You think the police department will allow the lane to be closed, that outside lane or two from Chamorro Village?
Yeah, I know
over to
drunk
the place?
drivers better watch out that morning very
Oh, my
early,
God.
because they'll be out there checking.
So this has actually happened at least one 5K that I was at over at Chamorro Village, maybe 3 years ago. And you know how they'll take a whole bunch of cones and they'll cone off the area at the very back of the start line. And I remember one morning, 5 o'clock, 5:30 or something like that. It was still dark, and he heard this noise, and it was pack, 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 and a drunk driver hit all of these cones. They just ran right through them, figured out what was going on, and went into the middle lanes and then kept going. Didn't even bother stopping. They had 2 or 3 of these cones that were stuck up underneath the car. Man. Could have been bodies. If that had taken place another 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, then they would have definitely been nicking somebody. So yeah, running can, even when the cops are there and the cones are up, can still be kind of dangerous. 956 888 8255 888 TALK. Ha! Colin sent me a picture of his distracted driving, and he's got his right hand, in what looks like a fairly warm spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm assuming that his other hand is on the wheel.
Yes.
You'll need at least one hand on the wheel, Colin. Careful, that's how babies are made. 9:57 and change. A bunch of stuff in the table of contents I actually didn't get a chance to talk about. Programman Salepi checks are starting to go out. And deposits are being made. You have until the day after tomorrow to register for the Programman Salepi. The deadline is looming. It's that close. And then after that, I don't know what's going to be happening. I'm kind of looking at the numbers thinking it's just over 3,000 people that have signed up and have gotten to a point where they're getting money. You'd think it'd be more, with all of the 14,000 for some odd families, 45,000 kids that might be impacted if mom and dad don't sign up for the Programman Salepi. So I'm kind of curious about that number. Also curious about this. If you get the check, then you get the check. And they said if you signed up to have it direct deposited, then they'll send you a note in the mail that says that you got a check. And I'm wondering, is that just a little postcard with a line from Ed Byrne on it from the Department of Administration that says, Hey, just want to let you know, check your bank account because you ought to be getting some money. The Programma Jalopy money is in there. Or, and I'm very, very curious about this, I'd like to see one of those letters when they come out. I'm wondering if it will be one of those pictures where there's a picture of Lou and Josh saying, congratulations, we've got your Programma Jalopy check. The deposit has been made in the account that you specified, Biba, Biba, Biba. I'm wondering if there's going to be a little bit of the campaigning thing going on. You remember there was one of those campaigns that they did not that long ago. It was another one like this where you apply for it and then you get the money, or was it the one where you didn't have to apply any automatic? I don't know. I can't remember. But it was one of those things where they sent you a check and then there was a follow-up letter with the governor's likeness and signatures, et cetera, on it that said, oh, by the way, you got a letter. And I'm going, oh, I wonder if they could have done that much cheaper than that, because it costs something like 15 cents to get each one of those envelopes stuffed. Well, when you're fat with federal cash, spare no expense, as the man says. Hey, I got to go. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Do I have more cops coming tomorrow?
No.
I can misbehave then?
You can have cops over if you want.
This has been my big good week. You had me on with the
It's
priest
Holy
the other
Week,
day,
man. You've been real good.
and the cops in today. All right, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. The radio station's KUSG. I got you. 93.3. That's us. We're the headquarters for Fox News. We get a taste of that now.
This is a Fox News alert, a person of interest. I'm Lisa Lacera. New York City police with more details into this morning's mass shooting at a subway station.